Trump on the tariffs, and we're bringing in billions and billions of dollars that we never had before in revenue. My loser is the state Supreme Court. I'm really tired of these judges dragging their feet. The State Court of Appeals has already granted, approved the state law signed by Kemp that the Trump people who were dragged into this mess were indicted. They've had to have their pay attorneys. They need to have their fees recouped, and the state Supreme Court needs to act on that and have these people made whole.
Kathy, you get the last word.
Okay, I'll be quick. I just want to thank a whole bunch of people that talked to me this week about how much they enjoy the Georgia gang. So I just want to say shout out to the nature girls at Cascade Nature Preserve. They're out there walking every morning at 8:30, and I saw them the other day. Lionel Woodyard at the airport talked to me the whole way back to baggage claim, and we had a good chat about the city of Atlanta. And then a whole bunch of friends at the Halidom Eatery on Moreland Avenue that just happened to be there the other day, and they were Georgia gang fans. So thanks for that.
You guys are rock stars. And Lori will be back next week. Have a great summer. Bye.
Well, welcome in. I'm Ariel Onstad here with meteorologist Alex Forbes. Thank you guys so much for waking up with us and streaming with us. We know why you're here. It is a very active weather day.
Oh.
We have flash flood warnings here throughout the Metro Atlanta area, a warning in effect here in Metro Atlanta, and then a flood watch elsewhere. We're going to get to where that is. But Alex, as far as the Metro Atlanta area, let's start there. What are we seeing?
Well, so heavy rain is continuing, and actually I want to take you out across the Alabama state line first, because this has been the most impactful weather that we've seen so far
in
this
our viewing
morning.
area.
Yeah, so this is Cleburne County. This video is from Abby Thomas. If maybe we could drop that there. So this is what you see, a creek. Jumped its banks, obviously. We've had some impacts in that area that have impacted the roads as well. Here's another video, this one from Ashley Whaley. So this is going to be on the side of a road, but then you notice the road is closed up above because the water is out in front. So this is Ramburn, Alabama. This is like 15 miles from Carrollton, right? So technically a different state, but it's in the Fox 5 viewing area, and it's just right around the corner from us.
And for so many of you who are streaming along with us, you know, you're watching Fox Local or on our YouTube channel, wherever you're at. So if this is where you are, drop us a comment in our YouTube chat. Give us a heads up as to what you're seeing.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you are in the Atlanta Metro or even Tennessee. We're going to get to that in a bit. Alabama, we're here to talk about it. So
yeah, so let's take a look at some of these specific numbers here. This is the last 24 hours in this location. So that 12.5 is right about where this creek is in Cleburne County. So 12.5 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. 7.2 down a little closer to Ramburn, 10.1, right? So a lot of rain in a good chunk of the county, which has led to a lot of this flooding. So here are the impacts now. County Road 10 at County Road 635 is impassable right now. Also County Road 41 near County Road 633. Say all that 5 times fast. That is also impassable at this time. And I just saw Cleburne County put up a post saying that the county engineer is out assessing what's going on, and we're going to take a closer look at that and have some more details for you in a little bit. Elsewhere, we still have rain in the metro, all right, and a flash flood warning, as you alluded to. This is for Newton and Walton counties. This goes until 2:15 this afternoon. You see a lot of heavy rain still continuing to fall between Covington and Social Circle, and that is falling on spots that I've already seen 3.5 inches of rain just in the last 3 hours, right? So that's a lot of rain in a short period of time, and that's what we're going to be watching for. So there's your hour-by-hour forecast there for the morning hours. Also want to highlight this flood watch that we have now in effect. This is going to go until 8 o'clock tomorrow night for 2 to 4 inches of rain, locally up to 5 inches. and that's what we are going to be keeping an eye on. Here's your Fox 5 Storm Team 7-day forecast. 60% chance of showers and storms. I don't think we're going to see the sun through Tuesday, and then we'll get more into that summertime pattern. But look at those temperatures, right? 73 today, 72 tomorrow, and 77 by the time we get to Tuesday, so starting that warming trend. And one other thing, which I'm going to have to break out my artist skills for. So we had an earthquake this morning.
We did. Yeah.
This was up near Charleston, Tennessee.
Okay.
So it was located right about here where it's raining now. So that's where the center of the earthquake was. It was a 2.3. Not atypical to see an earthquake like this in this region. It's just that we have, it's in the context of everything else.
Yes.
We had that 8.8 a couple days ago. We had an earthquake in New York last night. And now we had a 2.3 just across the state line in Tennessee earlier this morning.
You know, Alex, I want to say I actually was looking, I don't know if you saw this. I was researching, this may have been what we were talking about. Yep, you were just mentioning New York area, there was an earthquake. Yeah.
It was so that New York earthquake was officially registered in New Jersey.
Okay.
But that it was just strong enough that they could feel it a little bit in New York City. I was on X last night when that happened, and everybody tweeted about the same time. Oh, earthquake.
Yeah. So in our YouTube chat, I do want to shout out Miss LJ Hall says Covington is so bad right now.
Yep. So that's one of the areas that's in the flash flood warning. And take you back down into Newton County.
And for those who are unfamiliar, what's the difference between a flash flood warning and a watch?
Yeah. So. Two things. One, a flash flood warning means flooding is happening and it's coming quick. Okay. So that's the flash part of it. And the warning part is the right now part. The watch means the conditions are favorable for it. So it's not a flash flood watch, it's just a regular flood watch. So generally speaking, across the part of the state, and I'll pull it back up, that's in the green, from Eatonton to Madison, really most of the state excluding northeast Georgia is in this flood watch. That's where the conditions are going to be favorable for 2 to 4 inches of rain, locally up to about 5 inches of additional rain, right? This does not include what we've already seen.
Wow. And then we're just going to see even more rain continuing into the next day. So this is ongoing.
Right. So just for reference this afternoon, right, we're looking for the showers to stick around for a little while longer.
Okay.
I actually expect the afternoon to be mostly dry.
Okay, good.
But it's still going to be cloudy and cool and windy, right? Like it's not going to be nice outside necessarily, but then more waves of rain Monday and Tuesday.
Okay, Alex, so we are going to let you go so you can go ahead and prepare, because in the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to bring you back in. We're going to talk about the earthquake. We're going to talk about what you're seeing with this deluge of rainfall. Right. And for those of you who are streaming along with us, you're in our YouTube chat. Drop us some questions, some comments. We're going to bring Alex back probably in 20 minutes and let him answer some of those. Yep. But we just want to give you time to get organized, so thank you. You guys, we're going to transition and switch gears, because right now we have a story exclusive here to Fox 5. We know that hundreds of people are mourning the loss of a father of 20. He has 12 kids, 8 stepkids, and he was killed near the Greyhound bus station. Our Alexa Liaco has been following this story. Alexa, good morning. What can you tell us about this?
Hey, good morning. So yeah, hundreds of people showed up, really showed the family a lot of love and support as DeAnthony Reeves was laid to rest last night at a funeral. 10 of his 12 children were able to come and show up. They said they wanted to honor their father with a service that really reflected him as a person and really showcased his love for music, his love for song. They said he was a great dancer and was always the life of the party. And also they said that they, had in their hearts yesterday and really left feeling and knowing that, his kids, his family was his proudest accomplishment. We also spoke with the brother of DeAnthony Reeves, Deontay Hightower, and he said that he is actually going to start a foundation in honor of his brother to help support the 12 children who are now left without a father. Here's a little bit of what DeAnthony Reeves' brother and his daughter had to say.
When you can ask any single person, they will always say we were his pride and joy. I don't think there's a room he could walk into that he did not mention us or our accomplishments, our accolades.
And And when we spoke with the brother of DeAnthony Reeves, he said that APD investigators actually had let him know that there was an arrest in this case, that somebody is in custody in regards to his brother's murder. We reached out to Atlanta police to confirm this. They have not responded yet to our request. So we're still working to confirm that fact. But Ariel, could possibly be a really big development coming soon in this case, and some closure that the family is desperately seeking in this time.
Alexa, thank you so much. I can only imagine. I hope we're able to get that. I know that the family would definitely want to see that justice and to have that closure, what's next in the investigation. So Alexa, thank you. I'm going to bring you guys back here now to the studio, where we're going to go out to Little 5 Points. Our Eli Jordan is standing by. I'm looking out of the corner of my eye here. And we know that Eli is out in Little 5 Points, where later today they're going to be supporting some kids for a summer trick-or-treat. But Eli, of course, this is if the weather cooperates.
Hey, Ariel. Yeah, I know. As soon as I got here, I heard transformers pop. And sure enough, the power's out here in the neighborhood. It's not uncommon for that to happen around here, and that happens a good bit probably because there's a lot of development going on. And one thing that Little 5 Points businesses like to do, they like to get business out and make some money, because Little 5 Points is one of the last bastions of Atlanta that has resisted new developments. And that's what makes Little 5 Points really, really, really cool, the bohemian part of the town. And I'm here at Vintage Land in Atlanta, and I'm with Tabitha Crowder-Lee, and she's got a really cool shop, and she's part of the Back to Ghoul Days, Ariel. Back to Ghoul Days. Little 5 is very proud of their Halloween traditions and stuff, and so Back to Ghoul Days, I guess they call school ghoul, but
yes.
They who wants to go back to school, really? Well, some people might want to, but just come down here and get that final, right before you go back to school gift to your kid. Get yourself some, crayons and pencils and stuff. And Tabitha, how's it going?
It's going wonderful. Happy Sunday, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you for coming out this morning. So tell me, what is Back to Ghoul Days?
So it is an event put on by Little 5 Points official, and basically a bunch of the local community stores here are participating in a little scavenger hunt, if you will. We are encouraging costumes. Come have some good time. Each of the stores are going to offer something different. So you'll scan a page, there'll be a map, and you can go around to all of the different stores in the community and get you something good, some free items, of course. We are doing free school supplies for the first 25 people. And then all day, we have free candy for the children, of course, your grab bags. And then we have some free libations for the for the parents, because children. And yeah, that is what Back to School Bash is.
So tell me, what is it like having a business here in Little 5? I mean, Little
Amazing.
5 is one of the most, just one of the coolest neighborhoods in
It literally is. It's the coolest to me. I'm from LA by way of New York. This is my third place here. So this is like my baby New York for me. It's a bunch of eclectic, artsy, community-driven people who want to come together and basically support, but also come out and enjoy good events that they put on. Little 5 Points is always putting on different events for the community to come out and enjoy. A lot of them are free. Most of them are free, actually, and it gives you.
Eli, it seems like we can't hear her right now due to
we are back.
Okay, you're back.
We are back.
Yay! All right, let's listen.
Yes. And but I mean, think about Little 5 Points. There's a lot of locally owned businesses here. It's not a corporatized neighborhood.
No, each of the businesses. I am the owner of Vintage Land ATL. It's me, my mommy, and my husband. So we are a community-based, family-owned business. And then as well as most of the shops here are all locally owned. It's not some big corporation, like you said, or big chain stores that you find everywhere else. All of these stores here are one of a kind. One of a kind finds. Even the owners are they're always hands-on. You'll find them in the shops, talking to the community, showing support to the community, and vice versa. So it is very much deep in community support and vice versa with the owners. We all kind of work together to bring in awareness to Little 5 Points, more business, and just fun. It's really about fun, elevating, and keeping Little 5 Points Little 5 Points.
Keeping it weird, too.
Yes, weird and funky.
And so I guess, if you want to come out here, guys, and if you want to support locally owned businesses, Little 5 Points is the place to be. You got to come down here. They got all sorts of shops. They got criminal records on down there. They got parents can go hang out at the yacht club if they want to, or everybody can go hang out on the patio at Elmere or whatever and grab the burrito and whatnot. Then you come down here to Vintage Land, ATL, and grab yourself
a little bit of everything. We're a collective space, so we have over 20 businesses.
Some earrings and stuff, and then they got some more clothes over here, and you got Tabitha's husband right here hanging out. So, come on out here to Little 5. I mean, the rain is going to pass, guys. The rain will eventually pass. I'm going to get out in the rain because I'm hardcore, but the rain will pass.
In the rain.
And Little 5 is a cool place to be, guys. I say come on down here, support your local businesses. Back to Ghoul days, it'll be happening. Of course, businesses open up around noon on Sunday, so it's real quiet out here, and hopefully the power will be back on. We're at Vintage Land.
Eli, looks wonderful. I can't wait to learn more. I know that this trick-or-treating for the kids starts at 1 and goes until supplies run out, so thanks for that sneak peek. We'll be checking back in with you again throughout the morning. All right, guys, thanks to Eli. Let's transition to get some news of the day for you to keep you updated on some things that are happening here around the metro. The rain, as you know, we are in a flood warning here in the metro Atlanta area, and then there is a flood watch in effect in a county there in Alabama that we were speaking about with Alex Forbes just a bit ago. We're going to get back to that in just a little bit. Until that time, I want to let you know that the rain has postponed the game between the Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves. So this was supposed to happen yesterday, and the rain has been causing these headaches because we know that this record-breaking, what was supposed to be a record-breaking and historic game between the two teams at the Bristol Motor Speedway, has now been postponed until today. The game starts at 1 this afternoon, and that was after 2 rain delays and less than an inning of baseball. Officials decided to move the game. They realized it just wasn't going to happen yesterday. So now it is happening this afternoon. We'll be sure to keep you updated if that were to change, but for now, that is the plan. I do want to let you know that police are searching for this man that you see here on your screen. He's a suspect in a robbery. And this happened on July 26 around 11:30 at night. This was on Howell Mill Road, and police say this victim was attacked with pepper spray and then beaten and had money taken from his wallet. But they believe the man you see on your screen to be responsible, at least a suspect in this. So if you have any information on who he is, you recognize him, give police a call. Also, you'll want to mark your calendars, especially if you are a DeKalb County resident and you're looking for a better way to safeguard your weapon. The DeKalb County Police Force is going to distribute free gun safes next Saturday, August 9th. They want to give families a safe way to store their firearms, especially after the death of a 5-year-old boy. You're seeing video from the scene about this, and detectives believe that this little boy was shot and killed by his twin brother after finding a gun in a purse. Their mother was arrested, charged, and released from jail on bond. And as a result, police want to make sure this tragedy does not happen again. So if you are a gun owner and a DeKalb County resident, you can receive a free gun safe at this community event. Stop by any precinct between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. next Saturday, and you will be able to pick your gun safe up for free. It is time to get some news and weather after we take a quick break. We'll see you back here in just a little bit. And then we're going to have more weather for you and keep you up to date on what's going on as it relates to all the rain and the deluge we're seeing here around the Atlanta area. So we'll be getting to that in just a little bit, you guys. Back, I'm Ariel Onstad, and if you are gearing up for back to school or maybe you're already into it, we want to make sure you feel supported with resources to make you and your kids successful this school year. So I want to bring in Josh Sky from Free Game Academy. Josh, you are here to talk about some of the resources you guys offer. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yes, thank you. I think it's kind of a uniquely tricky time, I think, when it comes to school. If the back to school period is always a lot of like complaining about not wanting to wake up, a lot of having to kind of establish the routine again of getting back in the classroom. So I think that it's really good that we're having this conversation now, when I think that sometimes it can be a very confusing beginning of the year, especially.
Totally. And I think so often you don't know what to use to help support you or your family if you don't know it exists. So can you give me an overview over some of the programs you guys offer and how they might help families?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think one of the hardest things is that like there's just so much information overload and families don't really know what to do or where to find the resources they need. So what Pregame Academy does is it's basically a mix of just academic assistance through tutoring and homework help, but also mentorship. And a lot of what it's doing is just consolidating all of the resources in one place. So where if you go to the Pregame website, what you'll see is a bunch of other resources you can find both from Pregame and also just across the state and the country, where you're able to see, okay, this is what my kid needs and here's how we're able to get the help. But also on top of that, there's some more individualized and personalized assistance, which is if you look at something primarily our pit stop pass, what you'll be able to find is tutoring essentially to kind of get your student more ready for the school year, help them catch up on the math or the reading comprehension they might have lost while they were out having fun during summer.
And I think that's so helpful because so often our students may be really good in one subject and maybe they're lacking in another, and they just need that help to bring them up to speed. So you touched on free resources you guys offer. I'd like to go over that. What kind of free things do you offer families?
Well, I would say we offer a lot of different free resources. Like I said, if you go to our website, what you'll find is kind of a listing from both the federal government and the state government of all of these different free resources. But as far as free games specifically, you can find out Pit Stop Pass, which is essentially if you go to the website, you can get free tutoring services that have been funded by our sponsors like Krispy Kreme. Or if you go, you'll be able to essentially make appointments to help you with your homework or help you with like basically subjects you want to work on. Another thing I'll add to that is that I think that like there's this general preconceived notion of like, okay, maybe my kid's good in this area, they're struggling in this other area. What I'll say that is across the state, we're struggling a lot. Only about like 3 out of 10 students are proficient in things like math and reading. So one thing Free Game Academy really wants to do is it wants to level that playing field and make it so like students don't have to feel bad about being behind and actually help them catch up before the school year gets started.
That's so important because I can imagine, going back to school can be tough enough. And then if you feel self-conscious about your learning or you feel like maybe you're not up to speed, that can really be demoralizing for students. So what kind of tips do you have for families when it comes to building the confidence of their learners and what you guys do to make sure that they feel successful going into the school year? I know confidence is an inside job, but as you try to prepare them for success, what kind of advice do you give families to help them do that?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really important question. I think so much of it just goes down to the confidence level the student has, because if they don't have that confidence, then they're never going to be able to sit in a classroom and feel like they have the tools necessary to be successful. So in terms of Pregame Academy, I think the biggest thing that we do is we provide the mentorship, which allows students to know that, okay, I might have struggled with this concept once, but now I'm actually making progress through a lot of feedback from our mentors. As far as overall advice goes, though, I think one of the biggest things you can do is establish a routine, and I know it sucks, but a time you want to get up in the morning, establish a daily schedule, and kind of set yourself up to where you already have a lot of like the easy things done, essentially, of like, it's hard to be a student. It's hard to be in a classroom. It's hard to learn. So as much as you can get done beforehand, you want to get done. So like I said, know when you want to wake up, know when you want to do your homework. And I think once a family has established that baseline, it becomes so much easier to do a lot of the harder things. And then I think in terms of that, when you work with Pregame Academy or other forms of resources, it makes it a lot easier to make those hard things significantly easier to facilitate.
Yeah, I would imagine a routine goes a long way, and sometimes we resist a routine, but having one really sets our day up for success. Are there any common hurdles or common themes you hear from families about mistakes they may make in going back to school to help someone who may be listening to this avoid some of those similar pitfalls?
I think part of it is that so many families just go in with no form of preparation because I think that school is stressful and so much of the preparation feels like, okay, I need to get these books, or I need to get these markers, or I need to get these notebooks. Whereas a lot of the preparation I think that families do need is mental. I think an interesting comparison point is sports. If you look at like the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, they're spending 3, 4 months in some form of training camp preparing. The problem is students don't have a preseason, right? School is their season, but without any form of preparation, they're going in underprepared. And I think that if other professions and other fields are recognizing that, okay, we need time to prepare, what I'll say is that we definitely don't want to gamble with the future of our country, essentially, because education is that important. So I think that as long as a family recognizes that and they're able to say, okay, let's see what maybe we might have forgot over the summer, let's work to course correct that, and let's work to establish these routines that'll help with being consistent across the duration of the year, then you've set yourself up for what I think can be a really successful school year and can help you, even if you felt like you were falling behind before, really be up to speed by the time the school year starts.
Ah, so well said. Josh, I want to ask you, what kind of learners does Free Game Academy serve? If parents, guardians, someone's listening to this and they're thinking, hey, I have a kindergartner, or I have an elementary school student, I have a middle schooler, I have a high schooler. Do you help them all? Do you help just some? Tell us about it.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that one of the best things about Free Game Academy is that it's so personalized and it's so specific to the individual learner. For example, we actually just launched our new homeschool platform, which is basically helping really all students grades 2 through 12, essentially, called Freedom Academy, where you're able to go and get a fully licensed curriculum, essentially, where you're able to learn everything you would learn, but from the comfort of your own home, which is really helpful for homeschooled families or families that just want to travel more in general. So I think that's kind of one of our bigger new overarching programs. But also, I think that our resources are really applicable to anyone. I think that the Pit Stop Pass is honestly good for anyone who's enrolled in some form of like K through 12 education, in the sense that it'll help them get really caught up. But we also have other programs like our Next Play Mentorship, which is basically just like mentorship through either financial literacy or character education. So I think that Free Game is really a holistic effort to work on the student as a whole, rather than just saying, okay, let's help you in this one specific area. I think if you want help, you can get it at Free Game. The big thing is you just need to be ready to take the step forward and ask. And if you're unsure, then I think that the Pit Stop program specifically is a really good way to get that without any form of financial investment, thanks to our sponsors.
It sounds like it's a really good launching pad to some of the other resources you guys may offer, and it's a good starting point to understand kind of what's next and how it could be beneficial. I love the homeschooling resources you mentioned, because I know so many families look for that and look at ways that they can support their learners during non-traditional hours, right? Maybe they're in the classroom learning in the afternoon or a different time, and it's good to have those resources. Josh, is there anything else you want to add that you feel would be of value to families going back to school this year?
Well, I think that it's hard to just like summarize everything, I think, into one sentence. But the one thing I'll say is that I think that school is one of, and this goes both to the families and the students themselves, school is one of the most important things you will ever be participating in, because I think that education is the elevator to success. And sometimes there can be a lot of reluctance to, want to go back to school. And I understand it, because obviously no young student is like, I love homework. But I think that when you participate in school and when you down the line start seeing the benefits, you'll realize that it is really important. And I think that just approach it with as much joy as possible. Try to find fun amidst sometimes the stress. I think that's something Free Game really emphasizes. And I think that as long as you go in with a good mindset and you realize that school is something a lot of people don't have access to, it'll kind of just get you in the right headspace to have as successful of an academic year as possible.
Gratitude changes everything, and how we approach something allows our students to follow our examples. So I love it. Josh, thank you so much for sharing this with us. You guys, if you're streaming along, we'll be posting this on fox5atlanta.com so you can watch this video again. But for now, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll see you on the other side of this. Well, welcome in. I'm Ariel Onstad here with meteorologist Alex Forbes. And Alex, we're having quite the active weather morning.
You know, I was kind of tired this morning when I got to work.
Me too.
Not anymore.
No.
Yeah, that's just
We know why you guys are here. One of the first things we have to start off with, earthquake in Tennessee.
Yes, so this was just across the Tennessee state line, 2.3. It was at 2:03 this morning, and I was just thinking about it. I did not feel it, right?
Sure.
There was no thought in my head of, that's an earthquake, but I did wake up randomly at 2 o'clock this morning, and now I'm kind of wondering.
Did you feel it?
Was it the earthquake?
Maybe your meteorologist's spidey senses were just attuned.
That could also be the case, because it's eerie, I should say, about how I think something and then something happens like shortly after, and this might be that. But I don't know. So,
did you think about the rain we're getting today?
I did. I've thought a lot about that over the past couple of days. Let's talk about that. Take you over to Fox 5 Live Viper. All right, so we've got a couple things going on. Obviously, it's raining. We just had a heavy shower roll over us at Fox 5. Start in Newton County between Covington and Social Circle. Primarily, we have a flash flood warning that's going to go until 2:15 this afternoon. So Newton and Walton counties included in this. Technically, Rockdale's clipped, but unless you live in that little notch right there, most of Rockdale County is not in the flash flood warning. But the reason why it was issued was because between Covington and Social Circle, we're up to almost 4 inches of rain now in just the last 3 hours. So that's going to be north of Interstate 20 in places like Alcovy, over towards Greenwood Acres, Flint Hills, so really between Flat Rock Road and Alcovy Road. I know Alcovy Road's a really busy road in this area. That's where you've seen the most amount of rain. But then you go over to Social Circle and it's just an inch, right? So it's that really isolated area between Oxford and Covington and then over towards Social Circle. Now, I'm going to flip this over to the last 24 hours, okay?
Wow.
So a lot of spots have seen a lot of rain, and other spots have seen virtually nothing. So starting off in Floyd County in Georgia, right where the Coosa River crosses into Alabama, 10 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. 7 inches in Chattooga County, 3 inches in Haralson County. But you're watching from southern Forsyth County and you're saying, well, we only got 3/10 of an inch of rain. Or you're watching from Helen and you're going, what rain? It didn't rain at all. But I really want to draw your attention down into Cleburne County, Alabama. So this is where we have seen multiple instances now of a foot plus of rain, particularly in that white shaded area. That's where you get over 12 inches. And the result is flooded creeks and streams. And now we have a number of road closures in Cleburne County, including the list you see here. And I want to highlight that the Cleburne County EMA director just sent this out a couple minutes ago from the county engineer. Specifically, County Road 10 at Hightower and County Road 41, those two specifically are closed until further notice.
Wow.
Which tells me the engineer is out there looking at something he doesn't like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So we've got some video from Rainburn. This is just across the Georgia state line. This is about 15 miles from Carrollton. This video from Abby Thomas. You can see a creek where a creek doesn't belong, right? There should be a flowing body of water, but it should not take up that amount of space. As you can see, it's moving.
You can see how high the water is past the trees on the banks, and that gives you an idea.
And you can see the speed of it as well. And this a good reminder to not drive through flooded roadways because two reasons. One, excuse me, you never know exactly how deep it is.
Yeah.
And secondly, it takes a small height of moving water to actually move a car. So that's your reminder for that. We also have this video of a flooded road. This is still in the Rainburn area. And so you see the water there on the side of the road, but then the road is closed up at the top of the screen there because there is water over the road. And over on the right, you can see some flattened corn, it looks like, which tells me there was water there.
Sure.
And it has since receded since all of this transpired. Now, through the day today, we are going to have showers through the early afternoon, but looking for cloudy skies just kind of to wrap things up. But we do have more rain on the way. 60% tomorrow, 60% on Tuesday.
So for the rest of today, do you expect more of the same? It's just going to rain all day for the rest of this Sunday, or will we catch a break?
No, so I think we'll catch a break, but it's still not necessarily going to be nice outside.
Okay.
So the rain, the scattered shower activity is going to come to an end 1, 2, 3 o'clock, but we're still going to be left with the windy, cool, overcast skies across all of North Georgia with temperatures stuck in the upper 60s and low 70s. Like I've got 73 for a high temperature in Atlanta today. Our average high is 90.
Right.
And we are going to be almost 20 degrees below that.
For August, that is pretty crazy to think.
Right. And just so looking long term here, right, past the week ahead and into the month of August, I'm not seeing anything glaring at me that we are necessarily going to get as hot as we were. So maybe the peak heat of the summer is in the rearview mirror.
Where's the wood to knock on?
Right in front of you.
Right
Yeah.
here. I want to very quickly read through some comments in our YouTube chat for those who are streaming along with us. It's great to have you. We know, looking at this, Betty Smith says that, I believe it's Betty Smith, yes. She says she hopes it rains today in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
It's going to, yeah.
So Alex says you're going to get rain, Betty. And let's see if anyone else has anything to say. So if you guys are streaming along with us, we do these weather check-ins. We're going to be doing them about every 20 minutes throughout this morning just to give you an update on what to expect. Before I let you go, Alex, really quickly, what should people watch out for in terms of flooding, being that we are under a flood warning here in Atlanta and then a flood watch over in the county in Alabama?
Right.
What are the big warning signs, just so people know?
So a couple of things. Let me pull up the flood watch real quick. This is, actually, I don't have, well, I've got this. So the green shaded counties here,
Okay.
These are going to be your flood watch counties. So I wouldn't go about changing anything if you're in a flood watch county, but if you're in any of these flash flood warnings, which are these two flashing green boxes, that's where you need to be on the lookout for high water. And if you live near a creek or a stream, I would be on the lookout for that rising occasionally.
Yeah. And it can happen so fast. That's the thing. Water.
That's the flash part.
Yep. It just, takes on a mind of its own. Alex, thank you so much. We're going to check back in with him again. I would say probably around the 10 o'clock mark. So if you're streaming along with us, that gives you an idea. We may bring you in again before that.
All right.
But Alex, thank you. Guys, I want to get to some news of the day. One of the big stories we're tracking only here on Fox 5 is a memorial. Hundreds of people saying goodbye to a father and someone who was very beloved by his children. Our Alexa Liaco is out tracking the latest on this story. Alexa, what do you know about this and the investigation at hand?
Good morning. Well, family and friends laid D'Anthony Reeves to rest last night at a funeral that was attended by hundreds, including 10 of his 12 children who were able to make it there. The ceremony was filled with song and prayer, and music and dance was such a big part of his life, his children tell us. So they wanted to make sure that his celebration of life was, in fact, that, just a celebration of music, of song, of dance. And they said they want their father to be remembered as someone who loved his family, fiercely loved his children, and they're actually starting a foundation. His brother is, D'Anthony Reeves' brother rather, to help support the children as they move forward now without their father. In addition, D'Anthony Reeves' brother, Deontay Hightower, is pushing local lawmakers as well as officials with Greyhound, because this unfolded at a Greyhound bus station, to tighten gun laws and rules and regulations at Greyhound bus stations, but also in communities across the Atlanta metro, maybe hoping to stop one more shooting that leaves a family in horrible pain like the Hightower and Reeves family are right now. Here's a little bit of what that victim's brother had to say after his service last night.
Justice will be served. Justice will be served. Not for him, for his kids. He ain't just take my brother. He took their father.
And a very significant development here. Deontay Hightower actually told us after the service last night that APD investigators have let him know that they have detained somebody, arrested someone in relation to his brother's murder. We reached out to Atlanta police to confirm that, potentially get a mugshot and or charges that person may be facing. They have not responded to us with that information just yet. So potentially, though, some really big breaks in this case and some much needed closure. This all unfolded July 19th, Ariel. So it's been a while. Family members have been really in agony for weeks, hoping someone will come forward with answers that will bring the person responsible for their father and brother's killing to justice.
Oh, Alexa, I can only imagine their pain. It's good to know that police now have someone that they're looking at for this crime. Hopefully we get some answers soon from them. Alexa, thank you so much for your time and sharing this story with us. You guys, I want to let you know, for those of you preparing for back to school, you are looking for some supplies, some resources. If you can catch a break in the rain this afternoon, there is a Back to Ghoul Bash happening in Little 5 Points. And it's called Back to Ghoul Bash, of course, because it's like a summer trick or treat. Our Eli Jordan is in Little 5 Points giving us the preview. And Eli, this is a lot of fun because I know people are starting to think about Halloween. I say too soon, but some people are starting to think about it. And you're giving us a preview of how these businesses are showing up and what you can do to support them.
They're always thinking about Halloween here. Of course, you know, Little 5 Points is the home of the Halloween parade, one of the biggest Halloween parades there is. It's huge. But today, I'd say start around noon, 1. It's Back to Ghoul Bash in Little 5 Points here on Euclid Avenue. And I'm out here at Vintage Land. It's on Euclid Avenue. And it's a cool spot. They're participating in the Back to Ghoul Bash. And it's a little bit rainy out here. But, you know, and also the power's out. But, you know, the power goes out a good bit around here because there's lots of development around. But right now I'm hanging out with a Tabitha Crowderly. She is the proprietor of the place. And Tabitha, tell me, what all you got going on here today?
So we are Vintage Land ATL. Today we are celebrating the Back to Ghoul Bash, along with a lot of the other community businesses here in Little 5 Points. We're Vintage Land ATL. We're a collective space. We have over 20 small businesses, and of course, all of the amazing vintage that you can think of and find. For the Back to School Bash, we'll be doing free school supplies for the first 25 people to arrive. And then we have unlimited candy all day for all of the babies to come enjoy. We also have 3 rooms of shopping. And upstairs, we have a game room and lounge.
Cool. And so tell me, when people come to Little 5 and they shop, they're shopping locally, right?
Yes.
And how important is that? I mean, because Little 5 is known to not be corporatized.
Exactly.
And you guys want to keep it that way, right?
Yes, that's one of the reasons we chose Little 5 Points as well, because the corporatization, if you will, kind of eats up the little dogs when they can. And with this community here, everyone supports each other. All of the small businesses are community-based. They're small business owners. The owners are hands-on. They're in-store every day, so you can come in and talk to them, kind of get a feel of how they started, the background. It just makes you feel like home when you're coming in, and it makes you feel good to know that you're supporting a small business that actually every sale matters, every smile, every customer that comes in. It is all about community, and so the business owners in Little Five Points, of course, appreciate the support.
And you guys know each other. I mean, it's not like you just move in next to each other and
very
just
much
mind your
so
own business. But
family.
you guys
Elmire, right, is our neighbor 2 doors down. We eat there at least 4 times a week. At least 4 times a week.
It's like everybody knows what's going on around here.
Yes.
Everybody's kind of like watches each other's back.
Yes, everybody. Yes, and if something's going on, we call and say, hey, look out for this. If there's an event going on, we try to share through social media so that everybody can get a good amount of traffic and support. So it's really a hub of community in Little Five Points, and the small business owners are kind of thriving because of the community that exists here.
Cool, cool. Well, Ariel, it's the Back to Ghoul Bash in Little Five where, like I said, they take their Halloweeny very seriously. I used to live here. I lived here for 10 years, right across the street. It's a cool spot. And the shops here are definitely unique. They, because privately owned, you don't get the whole cookie cutter setting.
There you go.
Merchandise and things like that. I mean, you get real cool vintage things, unique items, and also, too, you're supporting your fellow Atlantan when you come down here and spend money at these shops. So, this is going on all day today in Little Five Points, the Back to Ghoul Bash.
And the rain just
stopped. A lot of places are going to be opening up by about 12 and 1, something like that. Yep. Tabitha came in early for us to show off. But, you can come in, you can get some free school supplies, items, and all that. Some candy for the kiddos. And then you can cruise up to the bars up the street, get yourself a Grizz or a margarita or a draft beer. And so come on down here, check it out. The rain has finally slacked up, and hopefully the power will come back on down here in Little Five Points, and everybody can party and spend their money.
Eli, thanks so much. I definitely hope the power comes back on soon for the residents and businesses there in Little Five Points area. I know all this rain and stuff, it's not too uncommon for Little Five Points, but still frustrating nonetheless. So, Eli, thank you so much. Again, you guys, Back to Ghoul Bash starts at 1 this afternoon. So in a few hours there in Little Five Points, and you can go get some school supplies for your kids, support local, and have a little bit of a trick or treat in August. Let's transition to some news of the day. One of the things I want to keep you updated on is the Cincinnati Reds versus the Atlanta Braves. That game was postponed because of the rain. So, this storm that we've been facing and all the rain that we've been having has been causing headaches, not just on the road and maybe near you if you're in this flash flood watch or warning, depending on where you're watching us from. But for a lot of fans, they weren't able to watch this game at the Bristol Motor Speedway yesterday. We know that officials decided to officially move the game to 1 this afternoon, and they called it after 2 rain delays and less than an inning of baseball. It was supposed to be a historic game between the Atlanta Braves and the Cincinnati Reds, but the weather just wouldn't cooperate. So we are expected to get hopefully a little bit of a break this afternoon. Maybe this can proceed forward. We'll continue to keep you updated right here on Fox 5, Fox Local. Stay tuned in the app, and we'll be sure to let you know if anything changes. In the meantime, I want to let you know police are looking for a robbery suspect, and they want to know, have you seen this man? So he is suspected in a robbery and assault on July 26th around 11:30 at night. This happened on Howell Mill Road. The victim was attacked with pepper spray and then beaten and had money taken from their wallet. If you have any information on this person that you see here on your screen, give police a call immediately. They are looking for them. They believe that they are responsible for that robbery and assault in Howell Mill Road. I also want to let you know, if you're a DeKalb County resident, you can get a gun safe for free. This comes after a horrible tragedy where we know that detectives believe a twin brother was shot and killed, a 5-year-old, by his other twin after that twin found a gun in his mother's purse. The mother was arrested, charged, and released from jail on bond. But as a result of all this, DeKalb County Police want to make sure that people safeguard their firearms properly. So they're going to be giving away these gun safes to families. And this is happening next Saturday, August 9th. You can stop by any DeKalb County police precinct between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. next Saturday. You do have to be a gun owner and a DeKalb County resident to receive that free safe, but you can make the most of that. Mark your calendars, stop by and make sure you get that so you have a way to keep your weapon safe. Also, I want to let you know, rapper and community advocate Quavo is doing what he can to support victims of violence. He's responding to the recent gun violence in Atlanta with an emergency trauma fund. He and his organization want to support those hurt by these recent shootings. The Rocket Foundation says 2 people killed were actually involved with their organization. That includes Coach Ball, who was killed last week on Schuyler Way. The foundation says all donations are going to provide trauma-informed therapy to those affected by these shootings. And so we'll continue to keep you updated as they launch this initiative and continue this forward, but they want to make sure that people are supported because this has been an ongoing issue here in recent days in the city of Atlanta. I also want to let you know, next month, the city of Atlanta's Fire and Rescue team is going to be launching its own dedicated drone unit. This is significant because the department already uses drones to get a bird's eye view of the scene, but they're going to be able to do much more with a dedicated unit when it comes to these drones. So let's go through what they're going to be able to do. 6 people are going to be ready to respond to calls throughout the city. We're told the department already has 5 drones ready for use and more are on the way. But these drones are used to protect firefighters, among other things. You can see an example here where the fire department is able to put the drone up over rescues, fire scenes, and other situations to get an understanding as to what is going on. And then they're able to help keep firefighters safe. For example, back in June, the fire department says they used a drone to spot a partial building collapse in a warehouse fire, and then they were able to get their teams to safety. So we'll let you know how this rollout affects our first responders. But in the meantime, we're going to take a look ahead to September right now, where MARTA is going to be suspending its streetcar service. And this is going to happen for at least 3 months. This suspension is going to help with Georgia Power's infrastructure work. So if this is a part of your commute, you rely on the streetcar to get to and from work, you're going to need to take alternate plans. I'm going to explain a little bit about what MARTA is doing to accommodate you. But first, MARTA says it's going to work on projects of its own while this work on the streetcar is happening. Officials say transportation along the streetcar route is going to still be provided. The work is set to start September 8th. Streetcar service will resume once all work and inspections are complete. But again, transportation along that streetcar route will be provided. You just won't be able to take the streetcar. We'll continue to let you know how MARTA is going to do that and what that is going to look like. But just here's your heads up, MARTA is going to suspend the streetcar service for some work on their infrastructure. I also want to let you know about a story that's probably not going to surprise you. We're going to take a look at where Atlanta falls for worst traffic because, according to Consumer Affairs, Atlanta has an average daily commute of more than 31 minutes. I'm curious, if you're streaming along with us on YouTube, how long is your morning commute? You can put this in the chat. We're going to check it. I'm curious because it varies. I can just think even of people who work in our newsroom. Some people commute for over an hour just to get here every day. According to this report, though, from Consumer Affairs, a typical weekday in Atlanta sees just under 5 hours of congestion. The only other cities that beat the city of Atlanta are San Francisco, Miami, LA, and Washington, D.C. So pretty impressive that we were able to rank among those cities. I don't know that I would consider that a great ranking, maybe impressive in a sigh, why kind of way, but you know, take it for what you will. This is another story I want to let you guys know about as it affects Georgia's farming and infrastructure. So in case you didn't know, wild feral hogs are not native to the state of Georgia, but they are becoming an expensive problem for Georgia's farmers and other parts of our state. So let's get into it because Georgia is launching a new effort to stop these invasive wild pigs from wreaking havoc on farmland and wildlife habitats throughout the state. A University of Georgia study found that these hogs cost farmers here a lot of cash. According to that study, hogs destroy thousands of dollars of crops each year. They uproot seeds, trample plants, and sometimes chew through parts of farm equipment. The study focused on 3 landowners in southwest Georgia and estimated they cost more than $100,000 each year. But the pig problem affects more than just those 3 farmers. According to the UGA extension, in 2020, hogs do an estimated $150 million in damage each year statewide. The Georgia Department of Natural Resources says these wild pigs are one of its most problematic species when it comes to damage, and they want to change this with a new pilot program launched this month. It allows landowners that kill hogs on their property the opportunity to win a free valuable trap to remove even more of the hogs. So it's important to remember these aren't native to Georgia, which is why they're causing such a problem. There aren't any predators to thin their population. If you're interested in learning more about this new DNR Hog Down Awards program, you can go to our fox5atlanta.com website or right here in the Fox Local app. And finally, taking a look at national news here, I want to let you know that President Donald Trump has extended the tariff deadline once again. So this time to August 7th, and I want to get into what that means. So the president is extending that deadline after Fox News sources say talks between the U.S. and Canada are likely continuing through this weekend. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada will not rush into a bad deal. Thursday, the United States hit Canada with a 35% tariff. According to President Trump, it's because of the illegal flow of fentanyl from Canada into the United States. Prime Minister Carney has pushed back on this, saying Canada accounts for just 1% of U.S. fentanyl imports. Trump's executive order affects 66 countries, the European Union, Taiwan, and the Falkland Islands. We'll continue to keep you updated on this and what's next with Trump's trade policy. But for now, we're going to see you on the other side of this. We're going to start with some more weather from Alex Forbes. I know you guys are eagerly waiting by to see what the latest is with the rainfall and the flash flood warning in Alabama and another part of our state. So we're going to check back in with him on the status of that. We'll see you back here in just a little bit. Well, welcome back. I'm Ariel Onstad here with meteorologist Alex Forbes. If you're just waking up this morning, you're likely wondering if you're going to wash away.
Yeah, there's that. It also might be your second time waking up this morning.
This is true because we know in Tennessee, 2.3 magnitude earthquake. So we have it all, guys. We have earthquake, we have some flash flood watches and warnings.
Yep.
And we want to start off, Alex, tell us a little bit about where this happened, this earthquake.
Yeah, so this is just across the Georgia-Tennessee state line. It was centered near Charleston, Tennessee. If you're familiar with that, it is northeast of Cleveland. So if you're headed out of, say, Chatsworth and Dalton up towards Interstate 75, it's that region. 103 miles northeast of Atlanta, 35 miles northeast of Chattanooga. It happened at 2:03 this morning. Now, I don't think most people felt it here. At least you weren't sitting there thinking, oh, wow, that was an earthquake. You might have woken up. I think I might have woken up at 2-something this morning. But what I think the biggest impact here is the animals are a lot more sensitive to it. So if your dog randomly started barking at 2:03 a.m., that is probably why. It's that.
And you know, it's so interesting you say that, because I was asleep with my dog in the bed and she woke up around 3 o'clock this morning. So a little later, may not be related, but it was interesting how she was kind of stirring about. Animals are so much more perceptive.
Yeah. And then, yes, we're under a lot of water as well. So take you to this. We have a flood watch now in effect. This is from now until 8 p.m. 1 to 3 inches of rain has already fallen. An additional 2 to 4 inches of rain will be possible, maybe even upwards of 5 inches. Here is Fox 5 Live Viper right now. We still have pockets of heavy rain, including in an area that is under a flash flood warning. That's going to be Newton and Walton counties. We've seen a lot of heavy rain in that spot here over the last several hours. In fact, within the last 3 hours, we've picked up about 3 inches of rain between Covington and Social Circle. So certainly a wet morning out there. If you come across a flooded roadway, this is your reminder to do not drive through it for 2 reasons. You don't know how deep the water is. And secondly, it takes a lot smaller of a height, or I should say depth of water, to move a car than you might realize. 6 inches can move a truck, right?
Wow.
So that's something to be mindful of through the day today. Now, I also want to show you the 24-hour rainfall total across really western Georgia and into eastern Alabama, because we have picked up a lot of rain in several spots.
These totals are incredible.
I know. So, yeah, and to be completely honest with you, I knew it was raining in northwest Georgia yesterday and into western Alabama, or excuse me, eastern Alabama. But when I got into work this morning and saw these numbers, I was like, okay, I didn't realize it was that high. But that has led to some problems. So we've seen about 10 inches of rain in parts of Floyd County, 7 inches in parts of Chattooga, but not everybody has gotten in on this action. However, Cleburne County, Alabama certainly has. I want to take you down in there where we still have a flash flood warning in effect until 11 Eastern, but mind you, they are in the central time zone. So that's going to be 10 o'clock if you're watching from Cleburne County. And that is because we've seen a lot of rain, upwards of 13 inches, not only in this area here. I've zeroed in on this area for a reason. I'll show you in just a moment, but also up along the ridgeline here with the mountains in between Heflin and Anniston. A lot of rain and a hilly terrain has led to flash flooding, and that has led to water over the roads in several locations. So these are a list of roads that are closed right now in Cleburne County because they either have or had water over them at some point through the overnight hours and into the morning. Also want to specifically highlight County Road 41. We heard from the Cleburne County Emergency Management that the county engineer says that that is going to be closed until further notice.
And what road? County Road?
County Road 41.
It's
that one right there. So got some video out of Ramburn. We've got some awesome Fox 5 viewers. This is from Abby Thomas. You see water in a place where water does not belong. And it is moving rather swiftly. That's why you don't want to drive through it. Now, there's no road necessarily in this picture right here, but we do have video from, I presume, not too far away from where that previous video was that shows you water next to the road and kind of the ditch, but then you see the over there on the right flattened corn.
Yeah.
So that's evidence of a flood that probably came up and then came back down really fast, and that's kind of the flash flood nature that we had there in Alabama.
In taking a look at this, Alex, I am curious. So we see here in the metro the flash flood warning.
Yep.
What is the difference between a watch and a warning as it relates to flooding, one opposed to the other, that our viewers may not know about?
So it's actually the same for everything.
Okay.
It's not just a flood or severe thunderstorm or a tornado. So when you have a watch, that is issued broad brush for a long period of time.
Okay.
So that's going to include a lot of counties, it's going to include a lot of cities, and it's going to be for 6 to 8, 12 hours on end.
Got it.
Or in this case, our
It's
flood
kind
watch
of like
is
an
24.
alert. Hey, this is happening in your area. Be mindful.
Hey, watch out.
Yeah.
A warning means it is anticipated to happen in short order or is happening, right? So if you get a flash flood warning, that means a lot of rain has already fallen.
Yeah.
And the National Weather Service is seeing signs of maybe a river beginning to rise, or maybe you're getting reports of flooded roadways, right? It's happening in that moment. Likewise, a severe thunderstorm warning is issued when we see a storm producing 60-mile-an-hour winds or 1-inch hail. We're waiting for that confirmation that it's happening when it's issued. So that's why you should always take a warning as, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
You know, that type of deal, rather than, you know, a watch is, the conditions are favorable.
And it could lead to the next step.
Correct.
Got it.
Yep.
So moving on, Alex, we've covered, you guys, at this point, we have gotten past our tornado, or not, I'm bringing in the third thing today.
Yeah.
Let's not manifest that. We've gone past our flooding. We've gone past our earthquake. We're moving into now, what can we expect in the week ahead?
So not summer, that's for sure. Should be looking at average high temperatures around 90 this time of year, and instead we're going to do 73 today, 72 tomorrow, 77 for Thursday. So we got a lot of kids headed back to school this week, and it is going to be a wet start for them on Monday and Tuesday. So for the remainder of the day today, we're going to have showers around for the next little while, but I think that's going to give way to about 1, 2 o'clock or so to just clouds, cool, windy. Wind out of the east today, gusting upwards of 25, so you're going to notice that one. Then for tomorrow, we're going to see more waves of rain, which is why we have that flood watch in effect. That's going to go until 8 p.m. tomorrow night. I don't think we're going to see the sun tomorrow, and I really don't think we've got much of a chance to see the sun on Tuesday. But Tuesday, notice we begin to warm back up. Our air's a little more unstable. That leads to thunderstorms, and then we find ourselves back in the summertime pattern by the time we get to Wednesday through Saturday, with high temperatures slowly but surely getting into the mid-80s.
Okay, Alex, this is great to know. I want to just point out real quick, Joshua Hendrickson in our YouTube chat says he's loving this rain. So at least you have one fan of what you're putting out here, because I know you're responsible. I know you control the weather.
I do. We've got the weather machine. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, look, we haven't had a day like this in a long time.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of people sitting at home in their pajamas right now, just like.
Sure. Guys, I feel it. If you're not in any kind of danger, whatever, this is the best Sunday. It is cozy. Maybe you have some hot tea, hot coffee, you're curled up. Maybe you're spending the morning with us, in which case we're honored. I'm going to speak for both of us. It's great to have you with us. But I hope you're able to enjoy it. Maybe you've got a pet curled up near you too, and it's warm.
And I'm sure
I'm envious.
There's somebody with pumpkin flavored something.
Somebody said August came last week. It is now officially time for me to bring out the pumpkin.
And somebody was Target.
Yeah, Alex, thank you so much. Okay, we're going to transition now, guys, because I want to let you know about some news happening here in the Atlanta area. One of the big stories we've been tracking is a father who was killed outside of a Greyhound bus station. Our Alexa Liaco has been following the story only here on Fox 5. And Alexa, just heartbreaking. This man had so many kids and family members who loved him.
He absolutely did, and they all came together last night to put DeAnthony Reeves to rest. He was killed July 19th, shot and killed at a Greyhound bus station. 10 of his 12 kids were able to make it to the funeral last night, and they said they want their father to be remembered for his love of music and his immense love of his family. His kids say they're really not sure how they're going to move forward without their dad. Despite them having so many kids in the family, they all said that their dad made them feel like a priority, and their dad always made them feel loved and always took care of them. So DeAnthony Reeves' brother says he actually hopes to launch some sort of a foundation to help his 12 children kind of carry on and be able to, cover life expenses that they aren't able to otherwise do. His youngest that was at the funeral yesterday was just 10 years old, oldest child 31 years old, so a range of ages here. And we wanted to play you a little sound of what his daughter had to say about her father after the service.
When you can ask any single person, they will always say we were his pride and joy. I don't think there's a room he could walk into that he did not mention us or our accomplishments, our accolades.
And we also spoke to DeAnthony Reeves' brother, Deontay Hightower, who says he's now working with local officials as well as officials at Greyhound, the bus company, to help tighten restrictions regarding guns and rules regarding guns at Greyhound bus stations, and maybe getting more officers on patrol or doing something in the community in hopes that no other family will have to lose a father like this family has lost their father. Deontay Reeves also, or Deontay Hightower, rather, the brother of DeAnthony Reeves, let us know that Atlanta Police Department investigators told him that there's been an arrest in this case, which is an incredibly significant development. We've reached out to APD to request that arrest report, potential mugshot and charges. They have not gotten back to us just yet, so we're waiting to confirm that information, and when we do, we will bring that to you with all of the details that come with it. The family definitely anxiously awaiting some more details on that and hopefully some closure for them. Ariel, we'll send it back to you.
Alexa, thank you so much for the work you've been doing on this story. We'll check back in with you again later this morning. I want to let you guys know, if you're gearing up for the back to school push for the week ahead, you're not alone. And thankfully, a lot of local businesses are coming together to make sure you feel supported. And one neighborhood doing that is in Little Five Points. Our Eli Jordan is out there, and he's taking a look at the Back to Ghoul Bash. So a bit of a spooky infusion into back to school, which, Eli, who knows, maybe for some kids going back to school already is a little spooky.
Oh yeah, Ariel. I mean, I never did like going back to school, having a new teacher, especially when you're younger. You got new teachers, new people, and I'm like, it was scary. But that's what they do good here in Little Five Points. They do things scary perfectly. They're known for loving their Halloween and their Halloween parade, and so why not have a Back to Ghoul Bash? And I'm here down in Little Five Points, Euclid Avenue. It's been a little bit rainy this morning. Power's been out some, and that happens in Little Five Points. But what makes Little Five Points really cool is the fact that the businesses here are locally owned. Little Five Points is not a corporatized neighborhood like a lot of places. And I'm with Kelly Stocks. She's with the Little Five Points Cultural District. And tell me, Kelly, what's going on with the Back to Ghoul Bash? Tell me about that.
It'll be trick-or-treating in about 10 of our stores here. They've got candy. There's some have adult treats too. Right so on. Candy and all different kinds of treats. And yeah, we're trying to get people to come in to the stores and support the small businesses.
It is important to support, especially here in Little Five, because I mean, Little Five is like one of the last neighborhoods that has like resisted successfully so far new development, corporatization and stuff like we've seen in a lot of areas of town, correct?
Right.
And right. How important is that? I mean, because I mean, there's a lot of culture here, correct?
Right. Yeah, and that's what we're in charge of in the cultural district. We grew out of the Business Association, which is a 65-year-old organization. And we're kind of in charge of doing arts and cultural events, history, and different things. So yeah, and we just started this year. So.
And also, Little Five has been known as the Haight-Ashbury of the Southeast.
Right.
And but also too, a famous place up here, the Finley Plaza, where a lot of you see drum circles and things like that going on in front of criminal records. That's finally being remodeled after almost a decade of planning, correct?
Right.
So
right.
So if people come up here, don't let that put people off. To you can still get access to stores that are behind that fence, though. I guess, right? There's a walkway up there,
right,
and whatnot. And of course, you got Ragorama here, and you got Aisle 5 up there, and you got Elmere back there, and then also too you have Vintage Land Atlanta with Tabitha. But if you come down here, people can do scavenger hunts, get some candy. Get some back-to-school items for free. And also, too, you'll be supporting local businesses, which is very important. And Kelly, how often is this your first time that the Little Five Points Cultural District has done this?
The first time we've done the trick-or-treating in the summer. And so it's always Halloween here. So this is a new event. But yeah, we had a monster ball a few weeks ago. We have a whole summer of Halloween events. So.
And then it's leading up, of course, to the Halloween parade, I guess October 19th, I believe.
Right.
Awesome. And hopefully we'll be covering that area because that is one heck of a parade, the Halloween parade here in Little Five Points. It is awesome. But today, come on down here, back to Ghoul Bash. The shops will be opening up around noon and 1. And come down here, support your local business because it's important. Get your kids some free items, get them some unique items they can go and show off to their friends at school and say, hey, I got this in Little Five Points. Third, fourth, fifth graders would be like, ooh, Little 5 Points, you went down there? And they're like, yeah, I went to Little 5 Points. So, because Little 5 Points is cool. So come on down here, spend some money, support local business, keep Atlanta, Little 5 Points weird. Do that, it'll be cool.
Eli, thank you so much. I know whoever goes out later today is probably going to have a great time. Back to the Ghoul Bash starts around 1 with those participating businesses. So, Eli, thank you. Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick siesta, and we're going to see you on the other side. We've got Caitlin Pratt. We're going to be checking in with her about another way that you can get your kids some support, maybe even some hairstyling to get them ready for the new school year. So we're going to check back in with her in just a little bit. Well, welcome in. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We've got a lot of you hanging out in the YouTube chat, and it's great to see you on our Sunday morning. If you've got some kids ready to go back to school and maybe they need a new hairstyle or they need some resources, a backpack, something to get them ready for the year ahead, our Caitlin Pratt is out with Blackmail Initiative showing us what's going on. There's the Secure the Bag Back to School Bash. Caitlin, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. An event underway here at the C.T. Martin Rec Center here in Southwest Atlanta, in the Adamsville neighborhood. But guess what? This started early this morning. We're talking 7 a.m. I'm going to show you where all this action began. Yes, you know, back to school means you need your new hairstyle, a fresh cut, a fresh style, and that's exactly what has been happening here inside. I just caught up with one of the organizers of the event, and this is just about getting everybody ready, getting all the tools to succeed for the new school year. And yes, that means looking good. Absolutely. So this has been happening since about 7 o'clock this morning. There's going to be barbers here arriving shortly as well to get those styles all set for the coming year. In Fulton County, Atlanta Public Schools, that begins tomorrow morning. That's the first day of class. So this weekend has been a busy time for parents, of course, getting their students set. I know yesterday, Ariel, I had my toddler get his haircut early. So that's what all of us are doing. We're also crossing off all those supplies from the list for back to class. And this is where the second level of this giveaway is going to be down here in the gym. Black Male Initiative is a nonprofit that has been working here in the community for the last 5 years, they tell me. This year, their goal is to give away 500 book bags and also make sure that every student who walks through the doors here at the community center leaves feeling great about the way they look, feeling prepared with their school supplies, and just feeling good in general about the start of the school year. This event is going to be going on until 7 o'clock tonight. So if you haven't arrived here yet, no worries. And the best thing about it, in my estimation, is that it's indoors, especially with it raining outside. Hi, little guy. So we're going to continue to cover the back to school event here in Southwest Atlanta. Good vibes, good times, and good stuff all happening here, Ariel.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. I love to see it. I feel like just watching those kids get ready warms my heart. And anytime someone fixes your hair, gets you ready, it just infuses you with so much love and confidence to tackle the world. So great to see them getting into the school spirit. We'll check back in with you again, Caitlin. Okay, guys, we're going to see you in just a bit. We're going to have more weather for you. We'll be back in just a little bit. Welcome in. I'm Ariel Onstad, and if you've been stepping outside lately and you come back in covered in mosquito bites, you aren't alone. Atlanta is actually not so great for mosquitoes, and this is according to Orkin. I want to bring in Ben Hoddle, an entomologist with Orkin. And Ben, you guys actually found that Atlanta's in the top 5 worst cities for mosquitoes. How did you come by this conclusion?
So that list that we have is based entirely on people calling in with mosquito issues. And so, I mean, given that Atlanta has been really hot and wet this year, it's not totally surprising that they're up on that list.
It makes sense. I think a lot of standing moisture just kind of allows mosquitoes to fester. One of the things, people may not be aware of, mosquitoes carry a lot of diseases. I know that recently here in Atlanta, we've had a few cases of West Nile virus confirmed in mosquitoes. Can you speak a little bit about what diseases specifically they can carry and why this makes them so dangerous?
Yeah, so it's maybe not entirely popularly known, but there's all sorts of different types of species of mosquitoes, and depending on which ones you have in your backyard, some of those could spread West Nile virus, which, as you mentioned, unfortunately we've had some detection of that this year, and then some others could spread other types of diseases. So we may have heard of like dengue virus or Zika virus or any of those other ones. So those would actually be different mosquito species.
Why do different mosquito species carry different diseases? I'm curious and getting a little nerdy here, but I'm wondering what makes a different species more likely to carry a certain illness versus another.
So it's really based off of what they feed on. And so the ones that spread West Nile virus, that part of that life cycle for the virus is actually with birds. And so these mosquitoes also bite birds, whereas some of the other mosquitoes maybe are more generalist or aren't very interested in birds, and they're kind of more focusing on people. And that's where you tend to have the dengue transmission that we hear about sometimes in like South Florida and whatnot. Those mosquitoes are really more interested in people than birds. And so it depends on what they're feeding on.
Okay, mosquitoes that have different appetites, wouldn't have thought, but that's a little bit scary. So if we are trying to keep ourselves safe, I know you guys talk about something called bite protocol. What is that, and how can it help us ward off these pests?
Yeah, so for preventing mosquitoes, some of the really big important things to keep in mind are doing preventative actions such as having screened windows on your house, especially if you're keeping those open, keeping doors closed, dumping out any standing water that you have in your property. So if you've got, I think one of the big culprits is if you have those saucer dishes under potted plants, those filled up with water a lot. If you got clogged gutters, that's another one I see a lot that gets some standing water in there that you may not see. But if you see leaves poking out, probably need to get those gutters cleaned out. That will greatly help reducing any type of mosquito breeding. And then finally, just putting on mosquito repellent that is registered by the EPA, and CDC has a list on their website of some of the options available for that.
I feel like you're calling me out right now, Ben, because in my head, I'm thinking about my house and I'm like, okay, clogged gutters, check. Leaves and kind of yard debris around, check. Maybe no standing water, but this makes sense as to why mosquitoes might be really bad around where I live. So are there any other unexpected areas? I think people do often associate standing water with mosquito breeding. You mentioned clogged gutters. Anything else you can think of that you see that people may not realize are allowing a mosquito factory to take place?
Yeah, so there doesn't really need a lot of water for these mosquitoes to breed in. And so even like tree holes. So if you have like a limb that breaks off from a tree, and then there could be a little bit of water in there, we can't unfortunately dump that out. And that's where you get into professional pest control management that can help with that. But there could be mosquitoes breeding in trees, which I've seen, which is pretty amazing. And then if we get onto the commercial end, any type of drain systems, like trench drains and whatnot, those can get clogged and you could have mosquitoes breeding there. So unfortunately, they can be all over the place, and some of the ones that are the most nuisance are ones that are pretty good at adapting to artificial breeding environments. And in Atlanta, we have a lot of those. And if you're in an urban area, you could have flat roofs that aren't draining well. Maybe your condo complex isn't having a lot of draining for that water. Those could be other spots to take into account.
Oh, this is making my wheels turn, because I think about Atlanta and it's kind of like, okay, it makes sense why we might be in the top 5 for people complaining about mosquitoes. As we wrap up here, if someone's wanting to maybe take some commercial or professional measures to safeguard their home against mosquitoes, but they also want to maybe protect the pollinators, because I see a lot of people talking about that. How do you balance these two things and try to protect bees and other pollinators, but at the same time, you can't be bitten up by mosquitoes every time you step outside? Is there a balance there, or do you have to choose?
Yeah, so that there is a balance, and then on a lot of the products that professionals use, there is actually wording on the label about not treating like areas that have bee activity, and so fortunately there is some of that guidance there, and a lot of companies have their own measures above and beyond what those guidance are. So like we wouldn't want to be treating flowering plants, and in Atlanta that can be very difficult. We've got a lot of trees and shrubs that essentially you could have stuff flowering year round in your home, but you definitely don't want to be spraying those with pesticides if there's pollinators going onto those flowering plants. And then there is some other options that don't necessarily target areas where pollinators would be present, such as treating areas with larvicides where there's water, that's standing water and whatnot. And there's also some new traps that have been kind of popular in the last maybe 5 or so years that don't really have any effect on pollinators. So there's some new options that have come out, and just more education out there of trying to protect them I think has gone a long way.
Oh, Ben, that's so good to know. Anything else you want to add about mosquito safety, preventing these, that I have not asked you that you think would be useful?
I think some other stuff, other than just making sure you put on DEET or any other repellents. Sometimes you're in a situation where you can't do any type of chemical applications, and you could actually use fans. So if you're out on your porch and you don't want to put pesticides out there, even trying fans, a lot of wind will keep the mosquitoes off of you. So there's all sorts of other things you can get creative with. And reaching out to an entomologist such as myself, or any maybe your local pest control companies, they may have some additional ideas as well.
Wonderful. Ben, thank you so much for sharing your time and expertise with us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Of course. Happy to be here.
Well, welcome in. I'm Ariel Onstadt here with meteorologist Alex Forbes. Thanks so much for streaming with us, you guys. We have new information about the rain that we are experiencing this morning. Alex, you've just gotten new updates.
So I'll take you down into Newton County. This is going to be Covington, and it's where we have a flash flood warning that's in effect, and that's going to go until 2:15. So that's for Newton County and parts of Walton County, as we are talking about this here on a Sunday morning where we have seen a lot of rain, right? So that's the radar over the last little bit. But take a look at this. A little pocket there between really Oxford and Social Circle, maybe just north of there. Almost 5 inches of rain so far, and that is where we are now hearing that there's flooding near the Housing Authority on Alcovey Road. So that's what you see here on your screen is Alcovey Road right there on the Walton County line, and that we're hearing that an overflow from a nearby pond is not helping the situation, right? So if you're going anywhere from Highway 142 on Alcovey Road up to about County Line Road, just know that you're going to run into some problems in that stretch there in Newton County. So very isolated. Not a lot of spots have seen over 4 inches of rain in the last 6 hours, but we will have that possibility. We have a flood watch in effect until 8 p.m. Monday. So this is going to go for about 36 hours, and it's going to include most of our area from Ellijay through Dawsonville over towards Lake Lanier, Gwinnett, Walton, and Putnam counties, and say westward. So Newnan, Peachtree City, Dallas, Woodstock, Marietta, Carter's, there's a long list of cities, right, that are in this until 8 p.m. Monday. In these areas, we've seen about 1 to 3 inches of rain already over the past little bit. An additional 2 to 4 inches is going to be possible with isolated amounts up to 5 inches, which is exactly what we're seeing in Newton County, isolated amounts up to 5 inches. But this is on top of the last 24 hours, which in western Georgia and in eastern Alabama, I mean, these numbers are kind of mind-boggling. 10.4 inches there in Floyd County. How about 13 inches in Cleburne County? But not everybody, right? Just, 20 miles away from that 13-inch mark on the other side of Carrollton, only 0.3 of an inch of rain in the last 24 hours. And you can see up on the north side of the metro, the folks in East Cobb, North Fulton, South Forsyth, Southeast Cherokee are going, what rain? We've seen like a ½ inch, and that's about it. So, the Cleburne number jumps out at you, 13 inches, and for good reason. We are running into some problems down there. You see, it's not just, one spot. It's a good chunk of land there, and that has led to some problems on area roads. Namely, County Road 41 is closed. I also just saw in the last 10 or 15 minutes, it looks like a sinkhole on County Road 10. Or at least where part of the road has washed away. Maybe not, I'm not sure sinkhole is technically the correct definition or the correct term there. But there's a chunk of road that is supposed to be there that is no longer there.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem that needs to be fixed. And we've seen some awesome video from our Fox 5 viewers. This is from Abby Thomas. Cleburne County is one of our counties here at Fox 5 from Rainburn. And you see water in places where water does not belong in a backyard. Likewise, this is your reminder to not drive through flooded roadways. I think this is also County Road 10. Ashley Whaley sent us this video. You see the road is closed up there where it crosses where the creek should be, but also look right there. You see corn knocked over. That's the sign of a water being there at some point, and it is now no longer
And even
there.
at the front of the road, it looks like there's some, it's very, you can't really tell how deep it is, and that's kind of part of the problem when it comes to driving in heavy rain.
And as if that wasn't enough this morning.
Yeah.
We had an earthquake.
We did.
A 2.3. So this was centered, this is maybe 10 miles northeast of Cleveland, Tennessee. I know a lot of folks are familiar with that area, particularly our volunteers who live in Georgia to and from Knoxville. They're very close to Charleston, Tennessee. So about 103 miles northeast of Atlanta, 30 miles northeast of Chattanooga. Happened at 2:03 this morning, about 12 kilometers deep. Look, here's the thing. This is weak enough that you likely did not feel it. But I think the impact here in North Georgia from this earthquake were the cats and the dogs and the chickens and all of the animals likely responding to it. So if your dog started barking at 2:03 in the morning, this is probably the reason.
Absolutely, especially if you live closer. We're in North Georgia, but if you live North Georgia, makes sense.
Dalton, Chatsworth, Calhoun, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and particularly if you're on a mountain, right? Because then you're going to have a higher likelihood of feeling it. So let's get over to the 7-day forecast, which I'm going to have to punch up here. There it is. Is that summertime? I don't think so.
Oh, wow. Is that August in Georgia?
That is not August in Georgia. That's for sure. So yeah, our average high temperature should be 90, or is 90. We should be close to 90 this afternoon, but we're not gonna be. What you see is what you get. We're about 71 in Atlanta right now. 73 is gonna be our high temperature today. Yeah.
It really just, I have to interject my own, just like looking at this, it is very interesting to note how cool it is so soon into August. I know Georgia's going to have a last laugh, and I'm sure we will warm up again, but we've had so much rain this summer. Like July was really the only month we dried out, if that. And so it's just interesting to see some of these patterns.
So it's interesting you say that because July has been pretty dry.
Yeah.
So much so that we are now in a rainfall deficit on the year.
How is that possible?
So July is typically one of our wettest months, and it has not been. So the average is climbing at a faster rate.
I get it.
And we are not adding enough into the bucket. So we're at inch and some change.
You would have thought that June really just put a dent into the experience, but no.
Well, and the other thing to consider here is that whenever you are doing official numbers for a city, the observation site is always at the airport. So whenever we're talking about a rainfall deficit for Atlanta, that is at the bucket.
Yep.
At Hartsfield-Jackson in that particular spot. You know, there is no rainfall deficit in Newton County, I can tell you that.
For sure.
Right?
Okay, well, Alex, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. Really appreciate it. Okay, guys, we are going to say thank you to Alex here and transition to some other stories of the day. One of the big things I want to get to as we're tracking this involves a heartbreaking loss of a father of 20 children. And we say that because he had 12 biological children and 8 stepkids, just a wonderful family who loved him. Our Alexa Liaco has been following the developments to this. He was killed near a Greyhound bus station. And Alexa, what are you learning about this story?
Well, potentially some huge breaks in this case and potentially an arrest has been made. But what happened last night was the celebration of life for DeAnthony Reeves, father of 12. Like you said, he has 8 stepchildren as well. So a big family, and hundreds of people showed up to his memorial service last night to honor his life and his legacy. We spoke with his children who said he loved music, he loved to dance, he was always the life of the party, and his proudest accomplishment, his kids knew, he said, was their family. They said they always felt so loved and appreciated and taken care of. Supported them all despite them having such a big family. And that's something that's really going to be a struggle for the family as they try and move forward and kind of pick up the pieces from this horrible and shocking murder that happened on July 19th outside of a Greyhound bus station in Atlanta. Now, we also spoke with the brother of DeAnthony Reeves, Deontay Hightower. Here's what he had to say about his brother.
Justice will be served. Justice will be served. Not for him, for his kids. He ain't just take my brother. He took their father.
He says he's just heartbroken because the loss to this family is so immense. Their father gone. He said now working with local leaders as well as getting in touch with officials at Greyhound, at the bus company, to hopefully tighten restrictions regarding guns on buses and at bus stations and in our communities, period. He said this gun violence has gotten out of hand and has ripped so many families apart. He told us that APD investigators let him know that there had been an arrest in DeAnthony Reeves' murder case. We are working to confirm that fact with APD, and as soon as we get that information, we will bring that information to you as well as the charges that potential person may be facing. I'll send it back to you.
Alexa, thank you so much. Guys, if you are preparing for the return to school this week, some of you might already be back here, some of you might be starting this week. I know Atlanta Public Schools goes back here soon on Tuesday. So we've got some resources to help you prepare. Our Eli Jordan is out in Little Five Points where their local businesses are participating in a Back to Ghoul Bash, a spooky way to give back. And Eli, I know this starts at 1 this afternoon. How are businesses trying to support students?
Hey, Ariel, yeah. Back to Ghoul Bash here in Little Five. You know, get some business coming in. Gives, you know, some parents time to maybe grab a drink, grab a couple things for your kids to get some free items. Some, you know, places are offering some free items. I'm over here at Vintage Land, Atlanta, and it's down towards the lower end of Euclid from Little Five. We're in Little Five, and this is a cool spot where you can get all sorts of vintage clothing and trinkets and stuff. And I am with Tabitha Crowder-Lee, She is the proprietor here. Tabitha, what kind of stuff do you sell here?
Welcome to Vintage Land ATL. We're a collective space. So, of course, we sell all the good vintage, but also we have over 20 plus vendors. They are creative vendors where things are handmade, one-of-a-kind pieces. Of course, jewelry. We have actually a little bit of something for everyone. Crystals. All of our vendors, we like to be community-based. So all of our vendors, we kind of come, work together. We have meetings. We do all kind of stuff here. Upstairs, we also have a game room and lounge, Pac-Man machine. We throw parties and events up there, yes. And then we have 2 more rooms of shopping in the back as well.
So back to Ghoul Bash.
Yes.
Tell me about that a little bit.
Yes, we're super excited. Costumes are encouraged. I was a little late, but this is my costume. We're ready. So it's back to school. Time to celebrate for the children. We have put together a little grab bag of free items for the first 20 people that are coming in. And also free unlimited candy all day for the children.
All right, that's my favorite part right there.
There we go. All of the community shops in Little 5 Points have come together to throw a little bash for the children going back to school. You're going to scan a code. You can go around and kind of follow the directions to each of the shops and pick up your free goodies and items, and also come in and support, show a little love, and now you know where we are, so you can come back and see us later.
And the cool thing about Little 5 is that, Little 5 community is where you find a very high concentration of locally owned businesses. I mean, it is not a corporatized neighborhood, is it?
At all. Almost all of the businesses here are locally owned. We don't have too many corporate businesses. I myself, we're family owned with my husband and my mommy. And then again, like you said, each of the businesses that you can see throughout the tour and throughout Little 5 Points are family owned. They've been in the families for generations that have been passed down, and they continue to run in Little 5 Points and thrive. So that's why this is so important, because it helps us to continue business. We're not the big dogs, if you will. So every customer, every smile, every person that comes in to support is really big to us, because we are community-based, and Little 5 Points is just a funky, creative, loving community.
Oh, yeah. It's a place that you guys want. It's a weird place that you want to keep weird, and the only way to keep it weird is to support the local economy.
Yes, we're not born to fit in here. We're born to stand out. So come see us, show us some love, come say hey, and we got all the free stuff for you guys today. So come take advantage while you can.
Ariel, you heard it from Tabitha. Come on down here, get the first 20 people, gets a free item out of this basket, and you got unlimited candy here.
That's right.
And then also too, if you're feeling a little bit of weird mojo, they got some crystals in here that might be able to, break that little vibe you got going on. But yeah, come on down to Little 5 Points. As Tabitha said, this is locally owned businesses, and it's one of the few bastions left of the Atlanta area that has not been corporatized with new development and all that. And they want to keep it that way, because Little 5 Points is traditionally, your cool, weird spot. And the only way you're going to keep it cool and weird is to have locally owned businesses.
That's right.
So come on down here for the Back to Ghoul Bash.
That's right.
12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, that's when they really start opening. But come on down here and check it out. Spend some money, help out some local businesses, and also get that unique gift, trinket, or whatever for your kid to go back to school and show off to their friends.
Yeah.
And, they can sit there and say, hey, I got this in Little 5. And the kids will be like, oh, my gosh, you went to Little 5? That place is scary. And they're like, yeah, I know. But anyways, Little 5 is kind of like, the funky place, the funky, weird place. And so come on down here and get yourself some stuff and support some businesses at the Back to Ghoul Bash in Little 5 all day today.
You guys, you can tell Eli really loves Little 5 Points. It's not like he lived there for a really long time or anything. I love it, Eli. Again, like you said, starts at 1. It's great to highlight our local businesses, so thank you so much. Guys, we are going to see you in just a little bit, and we're going to have more news and weather for you streaming in just a minute. We're going to take a look at some of Georgia's casting opportunities on the other side of this. We'll be right back. Ariel Unstad here with Tess Hammock.
Hello.
Tess, how's it going?
Great. How are you?
Wonderful. And you guys, we have some great castings. I always say that. But you
But we
always
do.
deliver.
We do.
So
Thank you. Thank you
no
very
lies were told. First one, an unnamed docuseries.
Oh, this one's going to be good.
Love story gone wrong. Already I'm curious. Already I have questions.
Me
Tell
too.
me more.
Me too. So, women, ladies, listen up. If you have a love story that has gone wrong, awry, one might say, did your partner keep secrets from you? Did they live a double life? Did they betray you?
Oh my goodness.
The drama, this is going to be juicy. Then we want you. If you're over the age of 21, of course, any ethnicity, but you have to be the woman in this relationship, we want you. Now, the filming is going to be happening in Atlanta, but we don't quite know when. So it's time is of the essence when submitting your materials. You can submit your contact information, pictures of you, and your backstory. Tell us what happened, because we want the tea.
Yes.
You can send all of that to realitybg@cabcastings.com. It's going to be so fun.
realitybg@cabcastings.com. And I think what I am deducing from this, it kind of sounds like the T app in real life. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the T app
I haven't
drama.
keeping up. I'm not on the T app, but I do know what's going down over there.
So maybe you can't get on the T app to share your story,
Yeah.
but maybe you want to share it in a reality TV setting because it's just that good. I think of, you know, Risa Tisa, who the heck did I marry? You know?
Listen, the T app is like my bank account. I don't need to look at that. I know what's going on in there. Okay.
Yes. Yes. We know. Okay. So second project, unnamed project.
Another unnamed project,
Okay.
but again, don't be turned off by the fact that it doesn't have an official name. It does, it just can't be released yet. They're looking for a photo double, a man who is Pacific Islander, Hawaiian, that kind of has that look to them, ages 50 and up, and then your height needs to be between 5'5" and 5'7". Your weight needs to be approximately 155 pounds.
Yeah.
And so a photo double is someone who doesn't do acting in the scene, but you act as the main actor when they need you as like stand-in as a photo double.
Reading this, hearing Pacific Islander, Hawaiian, thinking of being someone's body double, my mind automatically goes to The Rock. Can you imagine being The Rock's body double?
Yeah, unfortunately, he's not 5'5".
No, and that weight, 155 pounds, there's no way The Rock is
155. He was 155 when he was born. But they're going to have multiple filming dates in August right here in Atlanta. This is a paid opportunity, obviously. You can apply by going to, write this down, tinyurl.com/TALADBL. TALADBL. tinyurl/TALADBL.
And our final casting opportunity, Diara from Detroit?
Diara from Detroit, yes.
Okay.
Second season. We brought this to you before, but we need new extras for a new scene.
Okay.
This was going to be really fun. They are looking to cast patrons and workers for a yacht scene.
Oh, okay.
We love the yacht life. I know I would if
Little,
I had
what
any.
is it, below deck?
Oh,
you know?
don't even get me started.
Yeah, okay.
I love Captain Lee. Anyway, any gender, any ethnicity over the age of 18. This one's filming August 4th, so coming up really soon in Atlanta. You still have time to apply for that. This is a paid opportunity. You can go to Hilton Casting, that's Hilton with a Y, hiltoncasting.com/BG8425.
Wonderful. All right, so now we're on to our jobs and our networking opportunities.
Yeah.
First job, FX makeup artist for Fright Fest, Six Flags Over Georgia.
Yes, have you ever been to Fright Fest?
No, and I have to go this year because I'm not a big roller coaster person, but
Okay,
I
that's
love
okay.
a good costume, kind of scary situation.
This is
Cannot
it.
believe we're already talking about Halloween, you guys.
I know.
But we are.
I know.
So, Tess, take it away. What do we need to know?
Well, I love Fright Fest. If you've ever been to Six Flags, I grew up going there, but Fright Fest
yeah.
is their Halloween celebration. And of course, you've got those costumed and makeup artists that
Yeah.
look like zombies and different monsters. Well, someone has to get them ready for that. And a big part of the entertainment industry is, of course, makeup and special effects. So they are looking for someone to be that FX makeup artist during the Fright Fest at Six Flags Over Georgia. What you're going to be doing is you're making up those characters. You're going to be using the airbrush every day. You're going to be ensuring that they look scary,
Yes.
indeed, of course. And you're going to have between 2 to 3 years of FX makeup experience. You're going to be able to work work efficiently in a very fast-paced environment. And of course, you've got to work nights during a select bit of time. You must be able to work Fridays through Sundays, starting September 13th through November 3rd. And of course, Halloween.
Yeah.
You're going to be working then. So it's going to be really fun, a great way to be a part of the spooky action.
Oh, yes.
You can go to jobs.sixflags.com to learn a little bit more about this and some other entertainment roles that they also have there.
I do love that. And I think, you know, if you keep your fall free for these kinds of activities, this is a great opportunity for you. The 2 to 3 years as an FX makeup artist, maybe you're looking for some work, this could be it for you.
Absolutely.
All right, so networking and events. So we have a master class. Tell me more.
We sure do. Well,
I love a master
I
class.
do too.
Yeah.
You know what? It can be like just a conversation, and if they call it a master class, I'm like, I'm in.
Yes.
But the thing I like about this is that this is about pitching your product. And product meaning your independent projects, what you're looking to sell or get produced. And so this one's taught by Ty Johnston Chavez. She's a producer. She's worked with BET, Fox, MGM, Nickelodeon, all of the big names. So she is an industry pro, but she is teaching perfecting the art of pitching and selling your product. You're going to learn how to sell your independent projects, of course, as you use an independent filmmaker or TV maker. This is going to be great for you. This one's going to be on August 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Atlanta City Hall. And this is presented by Fulton Films and the Black Women's Film Network.
Love it.
So you're going to get to rub elbows with some really important people.
Yeah.
And it only costs you $15, not very many. You can go to bit.ly/BWFN Masterclass Pitch, and then there you can purchase your ticket.
This just sounds like a wonderful opportunity for not only networking, but telling me how to market myself. Hello, please tell me more.
Hello.
Because in today's industry, where I think a lot of people may be feeling like there's a lot of disruption between AI, between things moving to a more streaming type setup, they're looking for, hey, how do I get myself noticed and my project out there? Which brings us to, it looks like an Instagram Live that we could learn a little bit more from.
You know, I love master classes, but I love free as well. So this one is going to be a live with the TV host Shay Hollis, who is an incredible TV host, works on HGTV and Amazon, as well as casting director Marky Costello. She has, listen, if anyone is an expert in the entertainment industry, it's Marky. She's fabulous, and you get this information for free. So obviously, we're all kind of reeling, no pun intended, from E! News linear stream being canceled.
Right.
And we're seeing more and more of those shows that have been
That air on broadcast.
That air on broadcast.
Yes.
We're seeing more and more of those shows get the axe.
Yes.
And there's a reason for that. Obviously, everyone's moving more to social media, more to streaming. And that is something that is just, it's just part of life now.
Right.
And
it's disruption.
It's disruption. And unfortunately, you got to be able to move with the times. So you're going to be able to learn how to navigate the new TV landscape. This one's going to be on August 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And just go to the Instagram page for hosts in LA.
This is a wonderful opportunity because, you know, here in my industry, right, we have these conversations all the time and asking, hey, how can we add value to the viewers at the forefront of the experience? And I think if you are looking to get into this industry, understanding where it's headed is so key, because how do you get a job in something, get a role in something if you haven't understood where and how you can add value?
Well, and you know, obviously it's a changing landscape, it's changing tides, and you don't want to get left behind. So this is a great way for you to stay ahead of the curve.
Amen. Tess, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us these great opportunities. You guys, thanks so much for streaming along. It's always a pleasure to have you here for Casting Call. It is time to take a break. We'll see you on the other side of it.
Hey guys, welcome into our stream. I'm Jadea Murray, and we are joined by Alex Forbes, our meteorologist, because it's looking pretty crazy outside.
A little busy this morning. Yeah. I was kind of tired. I was kind of hoping for an easy day.
So was I.
And Mother Nature just kind of like lobbed the thing.
She said you thought.
Yeah, exactly. So it's raining in a lot of spots, and that's led to some issues. So let's get over to Fox 5 Live Viper and take you to a couple of locations. So first, we're going to start off in Newton County, where we have a flash flood warning in effect until 2:15. Now, we are seeing the rain beginning to taper off here, but that is after seeing a lot of it. So in the last 6 hours, we have seen, just do some pixel querying here, that's almost 5 inches right there on the county line. This is near Alcovey, 4.7, 2.8, let's say 2.4 in Surrey Chase. Social Circle, not far away, just 1.5 inches. So this is relatively isolated right now in Newton County. But we have seen that rain, and that has led to some issues, particularly on Alcovey Road. We've received a report of flooding that they are having to do something about, and that is close to a pond. So if you're close, or if you're familiar with the area and know a pond on Alcovey Road, there are some water issues there right now. So we've got that flash flood warning. I'm also watching what's going on up in Gwinnett County, because we're seeing another little bullseye develop here in terms of the rainfall totals. This is really between Snellville and Lawrenceville. So here's Lawrenceville here, Snellville down here. This is going to be really right along that scenic highway where we're seeing the highest amounts, just over 2 inches in Bristol Downs, Moon Place Road, North Road, and over towards Timbercrest and Carmel East. So just to put some numbers behind it, right? 2.2, 2.0, 2.0, 1.6 in that area. So if we see more rain, which we look at the radar and we see some heavier stuff, down this way, that's moving that way, that could lead to some flooding problems between Lawrenceville and Snellville here over the next little bit. So that's the lay of the land right now in terms of the rain and the flooding problems. Obviously, we're seeing heavy rain elsewhere across parts of the area over in towards Oglethorpe County, Walton County, as we mentioned, southern DeKalb, East Lake. Us here at Fox 5, we're about to hear the rain on the roof pretty quick. Midtown, Buckhead, all seeing some heavier showers. In western Georgia, not so much. Saw some heavier rain in Noonan earlier this morning. But over the last 24 hours here, in really northwest Georgia, so say from Gordon County through Chattooga County and Floyd County, but then extending back down here into eastern Alabama, we have seen a ton, and I mean a ton of rains. Just to throw some numbers behind it again, 12.5 inches. That's over a foot of rain in the last 24 hours in Cleburne County. 9.7 just south of Anniston, there on Interstate 20. Up into Floyd County, 9.2. Chattooga County, 5.9, 7.1, 6.2, right? So you see it's relatively isolated in Georgia, but it was widespread there in Alabama, and we're running into some issues there. So I'll take you down into the southern part of Cleburne County, which is one of our counties here at Fox 5, which is why we're talking about it. And this is where we have seen some serious problems on the roads in the last couple of hours, specifically along County Road 10 and County Road 42, if you're familiar with this area. So there, Ramburn's down here, right? So we're talking about, there's County Road 10 in this area. So where we have seen a lot of rain, we're running into problems. And we've got some video. So this is from Abby Thomas. You see water, should be a relatively benign creek.
Goodness.
And that is water where water should not be. And it is moving at a very quick pace. And this video, I think, is a great reminder to not drive through flooded roadways, right? You never know exactly how deep it is and how fast it's moving. And you really, it's super easy to underestimate how little water it takes to move a car.
Absolutely. Let me jump in there. You also don't want to get in, sometimes people do those social media videos, they want to go viral, so they'll get in the water, but you don't know what's in it either.
Right, and at that clip, you are going to go from there to there really quick.
Yep.
You're not fighting that in terms of swimming. So that's in Cleburne County. We've got another video out of Cleburne County. This is from Ashley Whaley, and you see water there on the side of the road, but you also see the road closed up ahead, right? So water, this is that County Road 10, and then over there on the right, you see the corn knocked over. That's the sign that there was a flash flood, and that water impacted that corn. It's obviously receded since then, but if water had impacted that corn right there, I suspect it was likely over the road right where this car is as well.
Goodness gracious.
So
Oh, okay.
Busy morning.
Yeah. Later on, maybe we can even talk about earlier. We saw that there was an earthquake nearby as well. Yeah.
Do it right now. 2.3. There you go. Centered near Charleston, Tennessee. 103 miles northeast of Atlanta, 35 miles northeast of Chattanooga. This is relatively low on the Richter scale, right? This is a run-of-the-mill earthquake, if you will. But just, in the grand scheme of things, we had a 3.0 in New Jersey yesterday, last evening. And we obviously had the 8.8 over in Russia, or off the Russian coast. And that was one of the largest earthquakes in recorded history. So it's just a reminder that we see earthquakes here as well. If your dog started barking at like 2 in the morning, that's probably why. Yeah, we probably did not feel it. It was probably a little too weak.
No, I slept like a baby last night.
And so there's your 7-day forecast. Not very summer-like, right? Highs in the 70s instead of the 90s. We're going to be looking at cooler stuff today, cloudier stuff, breezier stuff, some gusts upwards of 25 miles an hour. Back to school on Monday for thousands of kids here in the metro, Fulton, Atlanta, a ton of districts headed back. Grab the rain jacket. You're going to need it out the door.
Absolutely. Alex, I feel a little foolish because yesterday I told you that I didn't mind the weather forecast that you gave us, but I didn't mean this, Mother Nature. I didn't mean this.
Like I said, we walked in this morning and it was just like lobbed at us, like here you go.
What are you going to do?
Yep.
Well, thank you for our forecast, Alex. We are going to transition to another story. While weather is our top story today, we also are hearing, this is very specific to Fox 5 Atlanta, we are hearing about a funeral last night for a father who was killed near a Greyhound station. We have our reporter, Alexa Liaco. She has been covering this all morning long for us. Alexa, what can you tell us?
Hey, good morning, Judea. Potentially some really significant breaks in the DeAnthony Reeves murder case. I do want to give our viewers a little behind the scenes peek behind the curtain here and really reference the weather that Alex Forbes was talking about. I'm actually having to come to you from inside my car because our little streaming kits that we have to put this show on are so small and very not waterproof, and the rain is quite literally going sideways. We're at APD's Buckhead precinct in Zone 2, and it is just so rainy and so windy out here. It is kind of like being in a really significant storm, it feels like. It doesn't feel like just a little summer rain shower. So that's why we're coming to you from inside, so we can accurately bring you this report and not get our gear wet as well. But we want to go back to the family of DeAnthony Reeves. He is a father of 12, has 8 stepchildren as well. Hundreds of people came out to his funeral to celebrate and honor his life and his legacy. We spoke to one of his children who says, she knows that she and her other siblings were his greatest accomplishment. He loved his family so much. They wanted to give a celebration of life full of music and song because that's what he loved most. Here's what one of his daughters had to say about remembering her father.
When you can ask any single person, they will always say we were his pride and joy. I don't think there's a room he could walk into that he did not mention us or our accomplishments, our accolades.
Now, we also spoke with the brother of DeAnthony Reeves, Deontay Hightower, who says he is now working with local leaders as well as leaders at Greyhound Bus, a company that's where DeAnthony Reeves was shot and killed at a Greyhound bus station. He wants to tighten restrictions on guns in and around the bus and on buses in hopes that people, will not have to feel the pain that his family is currently experiencing with the loss of their beloved brother and father. He said that he's also been informed by the Atlanta Police Department that there's been an arrest in this case, that they have a suspect. We reached out to Atlanta Police Department to confirm that information, but we have not heard back yet. And as soon as we do, we will deliver that to you with the list of charges that person is facing. And really, it's important to, note that this arrest really means peace and really means closure for this family. Of course, it doesn't do anything to stop the grief, but it at least will give them peace of mind that, justice may start to be being served here. Judea, I'll send it back to you.
Alexa, thank you so much for that full view of, the funeral as well as what's happening next. I know there are a lot of eyes on this case in particular. People are going to be really interested in knowing if that arrest is true, and if we can get the name of the suspect on this stream. Of course, we're going to try to get that out to you as quickly as possible. Thank you, Alexa. And you know, I wanted to look at the YouTube comments because I know there was a little bit of confusion. We have been saying that D'Anthony Reeves had 20 children. He did. We learned that 12 of those children were his biological kids. They were the ones that were there at the funeral, but he also had 8 stepchildren. And so that's where the number 20 comes from. And before we get into our other headlines for the day, like I said, I was looking at the YouTube comments and we had some questions about the forecast. We also had a comment. Skeleton commenter said that they hope everyone is okay. They've heard of an accident nearby with someone and possibly a friend of that person where the road washed away and one person died, one person was stuck possibly in a tree. We'll be looking out for anything like that so we can confirm or deny that this happened. But Skeleton commenter, I saw that you have been in the comments for quite some time in our chat, and so I just really appreciate you joining us. If you hear anything else, feel free to hit our chat. That's for all of you guys that are streaming out there with us, and that's on YouTube. Okay, so now back to some of the other headlines for the day. We learned that a teen has been accused of breaking into cars, and that teen also apparently was shot in the act. So let me get you a little bit more information about this. This happened on Trenholm Street. Supposedly, the suspect was caught in the act, presumed to be breaking into cars behind a club there on Trenholm Street in southwest Atlanta. That suspect, that teen, is now in the hospital. Police say that someone shot him in the arm during the alleged crime. Now, investigators tell us that that juvenile ran to a nearby gas station and then somehow was able to drive himself to Grady Memorial Hospital. They're looking now into who fired those shots. Here's a pretty wild headline. Apparently, feral hogs are taking over parts of Atlanta, and it is a very expensive problem. The Georgia Department of Natural Resources launched a program to stop invasive wild pigs from wreaking havoc on farmland and wildlife habitats. So there's been a UGA study. They said that 3 Southwest Georgia landowners have lost more than $100,000 every 3 Southwest Georgia landowners lose more than $100,000 every single year because of this problem. And so they created the Hog Down Award program that rewards landowners for killing hogs that come onto their property. And let me be clear, these aren't just, your run-of-the-mill pigs. These feral wild hogs are considered an invasive species. So if you do go ahead and kill one of these feral hogs, if they come onto your property, you could win a free high-efficiency trap. We have some sound from one of those officials.
We want to, at the same time, reward efforts for people that are doing control, but also reward them in a way that's going to make them more effective in the future.
And we have been talking about the weather. You guys, the rain has not only been hitting us here in the Metro Atlanta area, in Tennessee, in Alabama, but it has also pushed back what was supposed to be a historic event. So the Braves were supposed to take on the Reds last night. The weather did not cooperate. And so instead of that big historic game, which was supposed to be, baseball played right in the middle of a race car track, that is now going to take place today. We're expecting that to take place at 1 p.m. And we will try to get you a live look. I think our Kelly Price is still out there covering what's going on out there. But you can also watch the game. I believe Fox is covering it. In other news, let's get on a live look at Hartsfield-Jackson, where, like I said, the weather has been our top story. There were delays and cancellations before, but let me take a live look at Flight Aware. That's where you can see how many delays there are. So it looks like in total today at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International, there have been about 200 delays and about 27 cancellations. So this is information that you could also find. You don't need a special login or to pay for this service. It is called flightaware.com. So if you do have a flight booked today, you're trying to fly into Hartsfield or you're trying to fly out of it, maybe that's something that you want to check out. And I will let you know, I looked at the National Airspace System and it does not look like we have any significant departure delays or any closures at our airport, which is a good sign. So keep an eye on that for you. But in the meantime, let's get out to some of our cool events happening around the metro Atlanta area. Our photojournalist, Eli Jordan, is down in Little Five Points neighborhood of Atlanta, where apparently every day is kind of like Halloween. Eli, what's going on down there?
Hey, Judea, they got the Back to Ghoul Bash here in Little Five Points, and I'm at Moreland and Euclid right now, and I'm at the Turtle Island Trading Company, and I'm speaking with, we have Carmen has free candy for everybody that walks in. And Carmen, and she also has got these really cool stickers. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Carmen, real quick. Carmen Halagahu, right?
Yes, Carmen Halagahu.
Right.
Nice
I got it close.
to see everybody out there.
So tell me, Back to Ghoul Bash, you guys are participating. Why is it important for you guys to participate in the Back to Ghoul Bash?
Well, we like to always be of service to the community, and the community includes anyone who comes into our store. And when the business association or the cultural district nonprofit organizes an event in the community, we like to participate and be supportive.
And here at the Turtle Island Trading Company, people come in getting those little, nice little last-minute gifts before the kids go back to school and things like that. What can people expect? I mean, there's a lot of indigenous crafts and wares here, correct?
Yes. We are, basically, we are an outlet for indigenous jewelers, artists, craftspeople. So all of this is made by hand by different indigenous people from raw materials. And so if you really want to look good and feel good when you go back to school, we have all kinds of things that help make you beautiful. And we have all of our jewelry is handmade. Primarily, we have our pottery. I mean, just most everything you look at that is really crafted is handcrafted by somebody. And we have our beautiful flutes that are handmade, which these are Native American flutes. So if you are interested in music and you're a music student, for instance, these are really awesome and very easy to play. And Naomi, who is here, can give you a little sample.
Awesome. And we got Naomi playing the flute here.
Yeah, there.
And so, how late are you guys open?
We're here today until 6:30.
Until 6:30. So,
yeah.
guys.
And if you're anxious about going back to school, we have dream catchers. These catch your bad dreams while you're sleeping and let the good ones go through. We have worry dolls. You tell your dolls your worry and you lay down and let them handle it while you're sleeping. There's all sorts of little things.
Cool, cool. Judea, real quick, I'm getting a low battery warning on my camera, so if it crashes, but that's why. But I'm out here at the Turtle Island Trading Company. In Little Five Points, they have the Back to Ghoul Bash.
Yes.
And come on, it's happening all day. Come support local businesses because this is what makes Little Five Points cool. They are locally owned businesses through and through. It's not a big corporatized neighborhood like a lot of other places are with brand new developments. They want to keep Little Five weird, and the only way they can do that is for people come out here and give them business. So come on out here to Little Five for the Back to Ghoul Bash. Support your local business and come down to a place like Turtle Island Trading Company.
Yeah, and we are the only store in Atlanta that sells what we sell.
Right on. You heard it there from Carmen. Judea?
Eli, I love it. Keep Little Five weird.
Authentic.
Authentic.
Handmade
Excuse
goods.
me. Authentic. Okay, so this isn't the only back to school event we have happening today. Actually, we have our Caitlin Pratt out also in Atlanta. She has been covering the Secure the Bag back to school giveaway with Black Male Initiative. We will try to get out to her a little later on, but just to let you know, like I said, that is not the only event that is happening today. Actually, if you are looking to get some supplies in order, there are a lot of things that you can go to, and it looks like actually that we have Caitlin ready for us right now. So Caitlin, take it away from the Secure the Bag back to school giveaway.
Hey, Judea, I stepped outside so that you could actually hear me for this hit. It's so noisy inside the CT Rec Center. You can see over my shoulder, yes, we're having a good time here. No fun time without some food, right? So we have some fellas grilling up some burgers, some hot dogs. This is outside the event that has been going on since 7 o'clock this morning. I did shoot some video inside the rec center here in Southwest Atlanta. I'd love to show you if we could. And you can see exactly what's happening here. People started lining up around 7 o'clock this morning to get their hair done, cut, rebraided, things of that nature. And in the next few minutes, they're going to be giving away some backpacks, school supplies. That's going to be starting soon. 500 of those backpacks in all. This is the 5th year that the group spearheading this initiative has underwent this event they say is critical to the community. Take a listen.
Today, what we're doing, this is our 5th annual Secure the Bag Back to School event for Black Male Initiative. Today, what we have going on, we have kids getting their hair cut, so we got young men coming in here, making sure they get fresh and nice for school. We got the young ladies coming in here getting retwists, coming in here getting braids, but also one of the biggest things that we do every single year, obviously we make sure that all the kids have backpacks. So we're giving away over 500 backpacks to families that actually need them. That's really gonna be beneficial. But also what we have going on, giving away free food, giving away free slushies, and then all type of good and amazing stuff, along with games going on for the kids, making sure they can actually stay engaged throughout the day, making sure that they're just not coming just for this one singular thing, but making sure they're actually having a fun and nice day today.
And so a day centered around giving back, showing up for our young people and setting them up for success before school starts. You're looking live once again at this event, a key part of the Black Male Initiative, a nonprofit here in the metro area, getting kids classroom ready with dignity, with confidence, and get a good night's worth of sleep tonight, kiddos, because Fulton County, Atlanta Public Schools, they go back tomorrow morning, bright and early. This event here, though, in Southwest Atlanta, if you haven't got your day started just yet, don't worry. It goes on until 7 o'clock tonight, so you definitely still have time to get involved and get, set up for the school year ahead. That's the latest here live. I'm Caitlin Pratt. Back to you, Judea.
Caitlin, beautiful job. I just have to say, this is one of those things where when you look good, you feel good, you perform even better. And so I love that they're getting the haircuts, getting the hair done or redone for back to school. I know I loved going back to school. My whole thing was putting my new clothes out on the bed. You got to lay them nice and right so you know exactly how you're going to look when you get up in the morning.
Yes.
And as I mentioned, that is not the only back to school event we have going on in the metro Atlanta area. Actually, I put together a nice little list of some of the events that you can get out to, starting in Powder Springs. They have their community fair. This is a free event. They're giving out school supplies. There are plenty of fun activities. This one runs from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So you got a little bit of time to get yourself ready before you get on out there. It's going to be held at Quality Solutions Global, which is at 4033 Louise Street in Powder Springs. The only requirement is that you do have to have a ticket, but you can register for the event on Eventbrite. We have more information on how you can do that, as well as the link on our website, or you can go to the Fox Local app and just look for the back to school giveaways article. Then, 21 Savage is hosting his It's a Back to School drive. Leading by Example Foundation, that's his foundation. This is their 9th annual giveaway, and they say it is their largest to date. That one goes from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. and it's going to be held at South DeKalb Mall. And they're giving away free school supplies. They've got backpacks, sneakers, giving out haircuts, just like the event that Caitlin was at, also some wellness checks. They're going to also go over some financial literacy and give you some resources and a whole lot more. And if we can get the graphic back up that showed some of the different events so people know the names of them as I'm referring to them, hundreds of people are expected to turn out to that 21 Savage event. Okay, so also in Atlanta, again, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. seems to be a pretty common, popular time. There is a back to school festival. This one is being held by Georgia State Representative Bryce Berry's Democrat here in Atlanta, and he's hosting it for District 56. So again, free backpacks, free supplies. health screenings, vaccination information, and there will be food and refreshments. So if you're looking for some good eats as well as some free stuff to get you ready for school, that seems like a cool option. And then last but not least, Glen Memorial United Methodist Church is hosting what sounds pretty cool, but you gotta cross your fingers and hope that it stops raining. It is a splash party, and they're also gonna be providing snow cones. So get on out there. It is free. There's also free parking. That one runs from 3 p.m. until 5 p.m. All right, now, speaking of back to school, excuse me for a second there, Atlanta teachers have just learned that they were surprised with a shopping spree, and for how much? $5,000. The Atlanta Public Schools system is just one of several school districts headed back to school tomorrow, as you know. Georgia's own credit union wanted to help educators out in the classroom, and so they treated them to a surprise $5,000 pop-up shopping spree. Organizers invited them to the district's media center where they could stock up on some of those critical items. And if you're like, well, which teachers got the help? It was the teachers at Cascade Elementary School. And we have a soundbite for them.
Be the best year yet. Let me just start off saying that. The morale is high, the spirit is high, our energy is high. So we know that it's going to trickle right down to our students. And when I say best year yet, just you watch and see.
Love to hear it. Speaking of back to school, weapon detectors have been installed in Gwinnett County schools. They are going back and trying to make sure that their students stay as secure and protected as possible. So, of course, more than 180,000 Gwinnett County students are expected to return tomorrow, and things will look a little different for them. As you can see on the screen, they're going to have to walk through those weapon detectors, which are different than metal detectors. They'll be able to determine regular items from an actual weapon. So phones and keys may reduce the delays and need for additional screening if you take those out before you walk through the metal detector. These are going to be at the middle and high schools.
How to create an environment that's warm, welcoming, encouraging for all students. And we want every parent to know that that's our goal, to ensure that every student feels safe, every student feels seen, feels valued.
And I mentioned that Atlanta Public Schools will be going back tomorrow. Gwinnett County Public Schools will be going back tomorrow. Take a look at some of the back to school dates. Tomorrow, Monday, we'll also be welcoming Clayton County students, Cobb County students, Rockdale County students. Actually, it would be pretty cool if on Facebook or maybe even Instagram, when you post your back to school photos of the kids, just tag Fox 5 Atlanta. We want to see how beautiful their smiling faces look as they're off to their first day. Like I said, I don't know about everybody else, but it was my favorite time of the year. Maybe I'm just a little nerdy. Well, coming up, I have a pretty cool interview prepared for you guys. I talked to a local actor. She's a rising star, well on her way to success, but she has caught the gaze of Tyler Perry. She's in his new series, Divorced Sisters, and we'll have that coming right up.
You can listen to Fox 5 Live on the Fox 5 Radio 1 network. Just tune your HD radio to 107.9 HD2 FM.
Hey guys, welcome back in. Our meteorologist Alex Forbes just let us know we have some breaking news. I'm going to let him take it away.
Yeah, so I've seen the flooding in Cleburne County throughout the morning hours really got started during the overnight. And unfortunately, Fox 5 can now confirm that one person has passed away in the flooding the south of Heflin, not too far away from Ranburne in Cleburne County. So what happened was a vehicle was washed away on County Road 41, and one person was found alive in a tree during the search and rescue operations, and the other passenger was not found alive this morning. So this has now become a deadly flooding incident. We've been mentioning this morning that Cleburne County is one of our counties here at Fox 5. Yeah. It might be in the state of Alabama, but it is treated equally, right? And we have seen a lot of water in that area. So if we go over to Fox 5 Live Viper here, you're going to see the map of where this happened. And look, this happened pretty close to where a lot of people travel. This is Interstate 20 right here. So if you are driving like towards Birmingham, you drive through Cleburne County for a good 20 miles right when you cross into the state of Alabama. And just to, I always like to remind people that just because it's in another state doesn't mean it's not close. It's quite literally 20 miles from Carrollton, 19.1 miles from downtown Carrollton where this happened this morning. So we've seen a lot of rain. Go over to the 24-hour rainfall here, and I'm going to turn off these storm reports. And what you're going to see is, 13 inches of rain in this particular spot, which obviously made it to the creeks and streams and all of that. But then also, you look up here, and if you're unfamiliar with Cleburne County, this whole stretch right in here from Jacksonville through Heflin, this is all very mountainous, right? So you're getting a lot of running water in this area, and all of that drains down to the south as you find your way eventually down towards Lake Wedowee, right? And then you have this river right here that moves down to the south. So all of that to say, they have seen a lot of rain, and unfortunately, one person has now passed away in Cleburne County because of that. Now, they are looking at other problems in Cleburne County right now as well. We have some significant road issues. These are the roads that are closed. A lot of county roads, namely County Road 41 and County Road 10, are seeing the most problems right now, all in the southern part of the county to the west of Ranburne at this hour. We also have some video here. So this is going to be related to what we have seen in Cleburne County. This is from Abby Thomas. You see what looks like there should be like a normal flowing either small river or creek in this instance. It's way out of its banks, moving very quickly, and is proof that things are happening, right? Mm-hmm. Also, this is recorded after the sun came up. A lot of this happened when it was dark outside. And then this is another video from Ashley Whaley. You see the corn tipped over, tells me there was water in there, and there's obviously not anymore. And if there was water in that field, there was likely water over the road in this instance right here. So just an interesting morning going on out there. Luckily, the rain has stopped for the most part in Cleburne County, but we are still looking at it continuing in a couple of spots, including in Covington, wrapping up there where we have some flooding problems. This is going to be off of Alcovey Road. We're looking at some flooding problems, and that's where we've seen already about 5 inches of rain just in the last 6 hours. And to give you some more details here, it looks like it's a housing authority on Alcovey Road in Covington. Overflow from a nearby pond is adding to the problem, says GEMA. So that's what's going on there. Also watching Gwinnett County. We've seen a lot of rain up there. There's a closer look at Alcovey Road. And we've got this flood watch now until 8 p.m. Monday. So we're going to have waves of rain here over the next couple of days. The temperatures, they're going to be cooler. And that's what we're looking at right now. But the big news is the one person passing away in Cleburne County.
And I do have to say, our comment section has been really on point. I hate to say it that way, but a skeleton commenter let us know that happened before we were able to get it confirmed by our officials, the National Weather Service, and for Alex to get that out here with us. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time to make that comment, making sure that we were aware so we could look into it and make sure we got that information confirmed and out to you guys as quickly as possible. That's one of the things that I love about streaming. It really happens, live, just like that. Yep. Thank you for the breakdown. Actually, if you don't mind, could you put up the road closures one more time?
Right, yeah.
Because it does sound like we have viewers in the area with us in the chat. I just want to give them a chance to take a screenshot of it.
Here we go. Should be coming up right about now, maybe. Takes a second to load.
Like I said, Technology is great
Yep.
until it isn't. All right, guys, go ahead and take a screenshot in case you need this information while you are out there. But I would recommend, Alex, you would say, stay home, right? Okay. All right. You know what? We're going to get you guys a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go over some other things that are happening closer to home in our area, some of the major headlines, and then we'll get the stream back on track. We'll come back to you in a little bit. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Now, streaming with us. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, we have been talking about the weather. We've been talking about some of the events that are happening right now. We've also been talking about back to school. And one of those events have to do with getting our kids prepared. Out there in Atlanta, in the Little 5 Points neighborhood, we have our photojournalist Eli Jordan, who has been kicking it with some of the cool business owners out there. Eli, can you tell us a little bit more about the event that they have going on and who you're out there with now?
You know, Judea, they're going to have like scavenger hunts. You can go get some free candy, all the participating businesses. But what's most important about supporting the local businesses in Little 5 Points is one of the last bastions of Atlanta that has not given in to new development and corporatization. So that's why it's important to support your local businesses. And so, you know, of course, they're like, hey, let's have a Back to Ghoul Bash. They're all about their Halloween because, you know, they have the Halloween parade. But yeah, Back to Ghoul Bash. Come down here, get you some candy, get you some, maybe a free item or two, do a scavenger hunt. And, you know, go get those unique items that, you know, the kids can go back to school with and show off to their friends. And right now, I am at Stuff We Want to Say. And Patrice Hull is the proprietor of Stuff We Want to Say. And Patrice, how long have you been here in Little 5 Points?
13 and a half years.
13 and a half years. And so tell me, what makes Little 5 Points special?
I think it's the eclecticness of Little 5 Points. Everybody can be themselves. It's one of the few places that haven't actually given in to the corporate regime. We are all independent businesses and growing as we speak.
And tell me, Back to Ghoul Bash, what is all that about?
Well, that's just to bring the people out, to let them know we still have what they need here. We have backpacks. We have all kind of clothing items. And as you go to the different stores, we're going to give out candy, all kind of stuff. As a matter of fact...
Where's your candy? I want to find your candy real quick.
It's funny.
Oh, yeah, here's the candy. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to have me some candy. Thank
I'm going to
you,
give
Patrice.
out candy. And No problem. And here's the thing. The first 5 people that come today, not only will they get candy, but we're going to give them a journal.
Oh,
So,
you got a journal?
journal.
A
That's
leather-bound
right.
journal.
Leather-bound journal. That's right.
Now, tell me again, what's the stipulation?
Well,
I mean, first, how many people come in?
well, first 5 on this, but then candy for everyone.
All right, now
So,
that's a big deal. Now,
that is a big deal.
So that's cool. And then students, first 5
Student,
walk in here,
yes.
they can put their homework assignments. They can put the boyfriend's name in there, the girlfriend's name in there. Teachers they like, teachers they don't like.
Notes.
All that. Oh,
travel
no.
journal.
Oh, yeah, how about
Because,
that? Notes?
you know, when the school starts back, I think they're going to probably be taking some of the phones. So you got a notepad here.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they don't want
They're
you to have
starting
phones
something
in the school
different.
anymore.
Yes.
And so, you know, about, you know, keeping it locally owned and all that.
Okay.
I mean, when you come to Little Five and you patronize the business here, I mean, it's local. It's completely local economy.
It is.
Locally owned. It's not, I mean, there's no big box stores here.
No.
And just how important is it for people to support, you know, to continue to support the local businesses? Because that's just it. I mean, you know, places like the big box stores, they got big corporate, you know, pockets and all that stuff. But you guys, you got rent to pay, big time rent to pay, and all that, or, you know, mortgages to pay. It's tough to be a business owner, right?
It is. And when you think about it, in this neighborhood, we have more than 100 small independent businesses and families relying on you. So every dime you spend in this neighborhood, it just keeps going through and throughout the neighborhood. It's a big deal.
It is. It is. And, you know, the weather might be, Judea, it might be just a little bit nasty out here today, but hopefully this will clear up and people can get down to Little Five and check it out and support the local businesses like Patrice is here, and I'm tangled up. I hope you didn't lose my shot. Good. And then come down here, support local businesses, Little Five, for the Back to Ghoul Bash. You know, like you said, Patrice, she's got the first 5 that come in.
Yep, first
get a leather
5.
bound.
That.
And then, you know, other places have things like that too. So and everybody has candy. And what is it, Patrice?
I actually just wanted to let them know that if you scan the QR code, you'll get all the different stores that are participating.
Okay, yeah, you can come down here and scan the QR code, guys. You can scan that at home if you want to.
Yep.
You can scan that. You'll have all the businesses that are participating, and then you can come on down to, you know, earlier they were talking about some guy that was walking around taking down all the signs, and so that's why we didn't have one of these earlier. But Patrice has one. I guess he didn't get to her side. But yeah, all sorts of crazy things happen down here at Little Five. But there's one more time, there's a QR code. You want to scan, see what businesses there are. Check it out. You can come down here and support local business at Little Five and also get you some things for that back to school shopping list. You know, the unique things, because they have unique things here in Little Five. You're not getting the cookie cutter stuff. You got really nice heart and soul put into these makings and all that. So come on down here, support Little Five at the Back to Ghoul Bash. Judea?
Eli, great stuff. And just letting you know that that poster is terrifying. I guess not everybody is in the back to school spirit, and maybe that's why he was taking them down. Who knows? But we will try to get back out to you a little later on. Letting you know that there are more events happening around Georgia in terms of back to school giveaways and events. One of them is happening right now in Atlanta. It's called the Secure the Bag back to school giveaway. This one is taking place at, it's being hosted by Black Male Initiative, and I believe it'll be running until about 7 p.m. So here's the whole purpose of the event. It's a day centered around giving back, showing up for the youth, setting up families for success before school even starts. For a lot of these kids, they'll be going back to school on Monday or some other time throughout this coming week. They say that the event is part of the work supporting Black youth and families across Georgia. So they are providing them with these free backpacks that you see on your screen right now. They'll be giving them haircuts, doing their hair. I saw a couple of people getting their locks retwisted, which is not a cheap service. So to get it done for free is awesome. And of course, they'll also be getting some school supplies to get the kids back to school ready for the classroom with dignity and confidence. Beautiful. And we did talk to somebody there at the event, if we can hear from them real quick.
Today, what we're doing, this is our 5th annual Secure the Bag Back to School event for Black Male Initiative. Today, what we have going on, we have kids getting their hair cut, so we got young men coming in here, making sure they get fresh and nice for school. We got the young ladies coming in here getting retwists, coming in here getting braids, but also one of the biggest things that we do every single year, obviously we make sure that all the kids have backpacks. So we're giving away over 500 backpacks to families that actually need them. That's really gonna be beneficial. But also what we have going on, giving away free food, giving away free slushies, and then all type of good and amazing stuff, along with games going on for the kids, making sure they can actually stay engaged throughout the day, making sure that they're just not coming just for this one singular thing, but making sure they're actually having a fun and nice day today.
And we do know that they also had food out there. Listen, there are so many people there. Our Caitlin Pratt let us know that there's actually been some issues with the connectivity because there are just so many people who wanted to turn out to the event. Hopefully we'll get a look out there with her a little later on, but if not, you know, we'll keep just updating you with what we know on the ground from here in the studio. Now, in terms of some of the other headlines of things that are happening around the metro Atlanta area, one of the biggest stories that we have been covering, a father who was killed outside a Greyhound bus station on Forsyth Street has been laid to rest. You are looking at his funeral that took place yesterday there. That man was identified as DeAnthony Reeves. His children say that music was everything to him, and so during the funeral there were plenty of songs and hundreds of people gathered out there to say their final goodbyes to him. There was some confusion in the chat a little earlier because we've told you that Reeves has 20 children, but we also said that 12 of them attended the funeral. Those 12 children are his biological children. He was also a father to 8 stepchildren. We talked to Deontay Hightower, Reeves' brother, and he says that now, you know, yes, he is saying goodbye to his brother, but he's trying to turn it into something positive for those children. So he's planning on starting the DeAnthony Reeves Foundation to help them out. He's also continuing to push for the Greyhound bus station and Georgia state lawmakers to tighten up our gun laws. He says that he's not going to be quiet until the man who shot his brother is held responsible. Let's take a listen.
Justice will be served. Justice will be served. Not for him, for his kids. He ain't just take my brother. He took their father.
And, another unfortunate story that I do have to let you guys know. A teen has been accused of breaking into cars, and possibly allegedly during the act, that teen was shot himself. And they let us know that it happened behind a club. The teen went off into a nearby gas station and somehow was able to drive himself to the hospital where he sought treatment. Now police are looking for who fired the shots and hit the teen. We don't know his current condition, but if we do get that information, we'll try to get it out to you on the stream. But you know, as I mentioned with Deontay Hightower a little earlier on, he's trying to go for stricter gun laws. Other people in our state want to make sure that people are staying safe. And so the Georgia Police Department, a Georgia Police Department plans on giving away gun safes in order to, like I said, keep people safe. In DeKalb County, they're hoping that families are going to have a safer way to store their firearms with these free safes. And so there's going to be a community event coming up soon. Now, all of this comes after a 5-year-old was killed. Police say that he was shot and killed by his twin brother after finding a gun in a purse. And their mother was arrested and charged. She's since been released from jail on bond. But this is a horrible crime, a horrible incident, I should say, that has happened. And so the police are trying to make sure that it doesn't happen to anyone else. If they can give them one of those free safes where you can lock up your firearm and keep them out of reach of children or anyone else who should not have any access to them. In order to get one of those gun safes, you can stop by any precinct in DeKalb County. You just have to be a resident anytime between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And also, again, speaking of gun violence, rapper Quavo, you may know him from the group Migos, excuse me. He's become a community advocate, and in response to recent gun violence in Atlanta, he's developed an emergency trauma fund to support those who have been impacted by shootings. The Rocket Foundation, which is what he developed, says that 2 people were killed. Excuse me, the Rocket Foundation says that 2 people killed were involved with their organization. That includes Aaron Hines, better known as Georgia Rattlers coach Ball. He was killed last week on Schuyler Way in Atlanta. Now, the foundation says that all donations will help provide trauma-informed therapy for anybody who has been affected by a shooting. Coming back into studio, I mentioned before that we were going to have a live interview with a rising star, someone who's gained the gaze of Tyler Perry. She's from Fayetteville, and her name is Taylor Farrar. Excuse me. She is now in the new series Divorced Sisters. We will have that for you in just a second.
Welcome back to Fox Local. I am joined now with Taylor Farrar. We are really excited to meet you. I mean, so you've probably seen Sisters, but apparently fans say that Tyler Perry is spicing things up for the summer with Divorced Sisters, and Taylor plays Kelly. Yeah, so not only are you a local, you are from here in Fayetteville, right?
Fayetteville, Georgia. Yep.
Yeah.
Born and raised in Fayetteville, Georgia, but my roots are New Orleans.
Got you. And I know it is really important to you specifically to give back and explain how you got to where you are to others coming up, actors and actresses.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like it's super important, especially coming from a small town in Georgia. You don't think that it's possible, but it is. So that's something that's really on my heart to share.
I love that you started with that. You don't think it's possible because let's get a little digging. And Miss Ma'am, is that you? That's you? I'm good at what I do, guys. I'm journalist. Oh my gosh, she is good at what she is. I cannot believe you felt that. I have to ask. You, at one point in time, you were studying broadcast journalism. But yeah, what? Now, you're a great journalist. I should know that, huh? But now Tyler Perry is looking at you. You're in a full-blown BET Plus series.
Yeah.
How do you get from here to here? Someone else is wondering too.
Right. Okay. I'll start from the beginning. You threw me for a loop there. It all started when I was in high school and I was in middle school and I wanted to do acting. I told my parents I wanted to do acting and they said, all right, let's do it. And I did. I took classes. I focused more on theater. Absolutely loved it. But I did want to get a degree. And I was like, man, I don't want to go to college to study theater. I kind of want to change things up a bit, but still be on camera. Still be on camera. So that's why I speak journalism, and I loved it. I did, but once I graduated, I was like, wait, I miss it. I feel like part of me is not there. And this is super cheesy, but I'm going to say it. But you know the saying, like, if you love something so much and you let it go and if it comes back, it's yours to keep. Yep. That's what I did. And I'm still shocked right now that you thought that was you. I'm going to let down for you to look at yourself. I am not a sports girly. I don't know what happened. Like, think about it in your field.
No, but watching it back, you did do a great job. And it's, I had to wonder, like, how do you go from this to this? But you clearly thrived in both.
Yeah.
Is there any advice that you would give to somebody younger out there? They want to get involved in acting, but maybe don't know where to start.
Yeah, I absolutely will say do it. It sounds like something so out of reach, but it is. It's reachable and you can do it. And I know it's a cutthroat like it's so competitive, it's cutthroat. But if you tell yourself it's too hard or it's too challenging and you can't get to it, then it's automatically a no. And that's what I told myself. And then I switched my brain. I said, wait, I want this. And I only get one life to live. Why would I not spend that time fighting for something I really, really want? And so when I got the call from my agent and said, hey, you booked the show. And I'm a big Tyler Perry fan. So this was so surreal. Especially us here in Georgia. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I grew up watching all the shows like Medea and the movies, all that fun stuff. It's crazy. Like this does not feel real.
Sometimes you have to pinch yourself to remember.
On set, I was pinching myself, especially when you walked in. I was like, wait, Tyler. And I was pinching myself. But yeah, that's something I want to just stress and reiterate is do not give up. And it sounds so cheesy, but it's the truth. Like it genuinely is.
And we will get back to working with Tyler Perry a little later. But first, I want to say, Kelly plays Rashida's daughter. So not only are you working with the LaToya Luckett, but also Devon Franklin. What is it like being with so many big stars, but, you are still showing up as your most professional self?
Right, absolutely. Well, of course, when I first saw them, I was so starstruck. I love them both so much. LaToya Luckett is amazing. And so is, oh my gosh, I call him Pastor Franklin. I get Pastor Jefferson and Pastor Franklin mixed up. It's fine. I have to remind myself, okay, I'm here to work. I'm not here to fangirl. I'm here to work. I will say when I first walked on set and I saw LaToya Luckett, me and my co-star, Jaden, were right next to each other and she said, oh, it's my kid. It's so beautiful. And of course I was like, oh my gosh. So everybody on set just feels like family. And it's crazy because you grow up watching these people or you know about these people. Starting Devon Franklin's books and everything and all of his just impactful things that he does, you're like, wait, what is going on right now? For them to be in the room with you kind of have to train yourself to be like, okay, I'm here for work. I'm here to do my part. But yeah, they made it super easy because they're just personable, loving people. And I'm not just saying that, like I genuinely mean it. So
no. Did anybody ever get back to you about what it was that set your self-tape apart from the others? Or do you know if you did anything extra that got you the role?
To this day, I have no idea. They just saw something. They saw something, and I'm super honored. I do know that a lot of us did not get callbacks. Usually you get callbacks. I'm sure the series regulars did get callbacks. But they said, Tyler Perry watched your tape, and he said, yep, I want that person to play this role. So for him to sit there and choose me, I mean, an honor is an understatement. So,
yeah, absolutely. Now, I told you we were going to get back to Tyler Perry. So working with him, I am sure that there's so much advice and tips and stuff that he's given you or giving out those on set. Is there anything you would like to share with the audience? Maybe one thing that stuck with you?
Yeah. I will just say that he really is an amazing actor's director. So he's not just like, hey, be sad. He helps you to find why you're sad and why you're reacting the way you're acting. So that really stuck with me as not just, okay, I know in this certain scene I have to be this way. He helps you find that reason why. And he tells you just to not overthink it, just to do it. And a lot of times as an actor, you want to do your best and you overthink it. But it's your worst enemy 9 times out of 10 because you're not caught up in what you're doing. You're caught up on yourself.
Yeah.
So that was the best advice like he's given. And not only just him directing me, but watching him direct other people, just taking note of what he's saying to other people. It was such an honor to learn.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, and the series, just dropped this new one in June. So you guys can go out and watch it on BET Plus. And also, you're very active on Instagram. If anybody had other questions about being an actor, an actress, those be welcome.
Yes, absolutely. Please do not hesitate to reach out. I love just being there for people and letting them know that their dreams are possible. My Instagram is Tay Farrar, Tayfarrar. Feel free to DM me if you have any questions. I'd love to answer anything. It's possible. It's definitely possible to achieve your dream.
Even here locally, Fayetteville native.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you again for joining us. We are going to get you guys a quick break. When we come back, we'll have a lot more content ready for you.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome back into our stream. I'm Judea Murray. I'm joined with meteorologist Alex Forbes. Alex, what's going on in the forecast now?
It's been an eventful morning.
Yes.
So let's start with what happened at 2:03 this morning. We had another minor earthquake. This was not too far away from Chattanooga, about 35 miles northeast of Chattanooga, centered near Charleston, Tennessee. It was 103 miles northeast of Atlanta. I don't think anybody could really feel it here in North Georgia, but the animals that are more, say, susceptible or more in tune with nature probably did feel it. And that's why your dog might have started barking at 2:03 in the morning. It was about 12 kilometers deep there in Tennessee. Certainly nothing that was overly concerning, but it's just in the context of everything else. We had a magnitude 3.0 earthquake in New Jersey yesterday, and of course we had that 8.8 off of the Russian coast as we found ourselves in last week. But we also have some breaking news this morning from Cleburne County. I want to take you out there, and that is because we have seen some flash flooding throughout Cleburne County here through the morning hours, and unfortunately, one of those events has turned rather deadly. We have seen one fatality be reported now from Cleburne County in terms of a vehicle being washed away on County Road 41. One person was found alive in a tree, and the victim was found during the search and rescue operations of the vehicle. So this was 3 miles southeast of Trickham on County Road 41. And in fact, if I stand this up, we can go right down into where this was. So it was in this area here. There's County Road 41. So it was right in here where this happened earlier this morning. Now, it shouldn't be a surprise to us necessarily because we saw a lot of rain in this area. Here's your rainfall totals from the last 24 hours, right? We were looking down in this area right in there, and that is where, downstream of a foot of rain that fell in those areas. Now, on Fox 5 Live Viper right now, we are looking at that flash flood warning continuing out there in Cleburne County. Actually, excuse me, they've now changed that to an aerial flood warning. So it's not something happening suddenly anymore. However, we do have this flash flood warning continuing for Newton County and for Walton County until 2:15, and that's because we've seen a ton of rain in those spots. So go down and take a closer look at what's going on right now. Rain's beginning to move out, but that is not after leaving almost 5 inches in the last 6 hours right there on the Newton-Walton County line, really between Covington and Monroe are the two waypoints there, not too far away from Social Circle. But it was a really isolated event there. In fact, if we go down even closer, this is going to be right near Alcovey Road and County Line Road over towards Gregory Road, where we saw the highest totals, understanding that there's been a housing complex that's been impacted by this in terms of flooding. So that is ongoing now in parts of Newton County. We also still have this flood watch that's in effect until 8 p.m. Monday. 1 to 3 inches of rain have already fallen. An additional 2 to 4 possible, potentially up to 5 inches between now and Monday, and that's going to be for all the green shaded counties there. So, not a lot going on, right? Yeah.
Well, while we're thinking about people getting ready to go back to school, obviously that's going to affect you.
Yeah.
Whether you're taking the bus, whether you live close enough to walk to school, the biggest thing is you're probably going to need an umbrella.
Need an umbrella, need a rain jacket. So I think tomorrow morning, a lot of bus stops are going to be okay. Tomorrow afternoon is when we're going to mix in more of that rain activity in the metro area. And then Tuesday morning, I expect everybody's going to need everything. The umbrella, the rain jacket, the poncho, just the everything, because Tuesday mornings are going to be pretty wet. Now, Tuesday is going to be our last day in the 70s. So we've been in the 70s yesterday. We nudged 80 yesterday. We'll be in the 70s all day today. We'll be in the 70s all day tomorrow. Wednesday, I've got 77 as a high temperature there. Still hanging on to a 60% chance of rain, or going down to a 40% chance of rain by the time we get to Wednesday. Regardless, we're going to get back into that summertime pattern as we find our way towards the end of the week. Going to feel a little more August-like for Georgia rather than what we're seeing right now.
Okay, well, fingers crossed, because you never know what can happen in the state of Georgia.
Right. Except I like to think I have at least a decent idea.
I guess so. You would have the schooling to know.
Yeah, just a little.
The laughs aside and everything, we do want to say we are thinking about the family or anybody affected in the Cleburne County deadly flooding, as well as, I believe you said Newton and what was it, Walton.
Walton County, yeah.
That could be experiencing that flash flooding now. So we're keeping all of you in our thoughts, and we'll try to get you the latest weather throughout the day. The next time I think you're going to see us is at 4 p.m. today. All right. Thank you so much, Alex. Now, back into the home front, we have a lot of events happening around our area. We're talking about back to school, and one of those events, our photojournalist Eli Jordan is out at. Eli has been visiting us from Little 5 Points, where they're having their Back to Ghoul Bash. Eli, can you tell us a little more about what you're seeing?
Hey, Judea. Yeah, I'm in Little 5 Points, and I'm in Crystal Blue for the Back to Ghoul Bash. They're participants in the Back to Ghoul Bash. And if you've never been to Crystal Blue, it's one of the coolest shops in all of Little 5 Points, because you can get all your crystals and your incense and your sage rubbings and all that good stuff. And here to talk to me about it is Indigo Davis. She works here. Indigo, how are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. On this rainy day, it's still amazing.
I know, and hopefully, it'll slack off a little bit so we can get some business in here. You already had some business.
Oh, yeah.
But you're part of the Back to Ghoul Bash, right?
Yes, we are.
And so, just tell me, what is Back to Ghoul? What is the Back to Ghoul Bash?
The Back to Ghoul Bash basically is about giving back to the children school supplies and all that, making sure they're set for school and all of that. And that's about it. That's what I know about it.
Gotcha. And so, I mean, if you were to come in here, you might have some nervous parents or nervous kids.
Oh,
and
yes.
you can have some calming crystals or some incense.
Oh, wait, hold
that.
on. You're going past something good. So this is our fluorite rack. So for school, this is a good crystal for focus and clarity in the mind. So this is really good for all my students out there, college students, elementary students.
Cool,
anybody.
right on. And you guys have all sorts of things for all sorts of situations.
And this is our crystal of the month. This is sunstone.
Right
and this
on.
is good for the Leo. So this is our Leo section. So for all my Leos out there with your birthday coming up or has had a birthday, come in and shop with us. And that's just the little bit of it.
All right, what about Aquarius?
What about Aquarius?
Yeah, I mean, you have you think for Aquarius? I guess
Look, Aquarius, garnet, moss agate, fluorite, what we just talked about.
Right on.
So we're in alignment. Then we have malachite. Malachite is good for leaders. So all my leaders out there, taking leadership or taking something in new this year, malachite is great.
And also too, you got the good smelling stuff over here.
Oh yeah, we have some herbs. We have all types of incense. These are the ones I really love. Have you heard of 2-hour burning incense?
Oh, that sounds good.
Amazing. And then we have our Florida water and a plethora of candles over here, small candles to big candles.
Enough to calm any soul if they have any nerves.
Exactly.
Before, the school time and all that. And also too, though, you guys are locally owned, correct?
Yes, we are. We are celebrating 40 years.
40 years, guys,
40
in Little
years
Five. And
in
that's
Little
hard
5
to stay
Points.
alive. And that's what makes Little 5 Points cool, is that Little 5 Points has resisted the big box corporatization, developments, and things like that you see a lot of other neighborhoods. Little 5 Points has resisted it, and the way they've done that is by having a thriving, locally owned business community who fights to keep everything locally owned, and that also keeps Little 5 Points weird. Isn't that right, Indigo?
Exactly, and definitely unique.
And so yeah, I mean,
with that 40 years, we're celebrating with the raffle. So
you can
this
come
is
down
our
here?
raffle, so you could definitely come down and enter. We
Get
have
$100 worth of stuff.
Yes, more than $100.
Oh.
That's just our gift card. So $100 gift certificate. We have a citrine right here, a celestite, and we have a motivite and a sound bowl. So definitely come down and enter the raffle. $3 for 1 ticket and $10 for 4 tickets. So it's already beginning. So come down and get your tickets right now.
And you also
to
have
win these
essential
amazing
oils,
gifts.
too.
Oh yeah, essential oils. You can't forget about that. And we have down here some singing bowls.
Oh, singing bowls.
That's another
Yep.
way to like cleanse your aura, your crystals. Like if you're having a bad day or a hard day studying for like the new year starting school, get you a sound bowl and just, hit that frequency, calms you down. So we provide that as well. And we also have our book section. So anything you can think of as far as like crystals, herbalism, spirituality. We have the orishas in there. We have yoga in there. Another calming tool, yoga. So we have a big book section, and we have some journals if you want to come in and use those as well.
So that's awesome. That's awesome. And so,
Yes.
Judea, you heard it. Come on down here to Little 5 Points. And then if you need any spiritual healing or anything like that to calm yourself, come down here to Crystal Blue in Little 5. One of my favorite shops down here because it smells so good down here. And it has all sorts of cool, colorful crystals and groovy things to help you get your school time started back in the Back to Ghoul Bash.
Yes, on the right note and on the right foot. I'm really happy that we ended our tour here because I feel like you just kind of cleansed the whole stream. I was feeling kind of anxious myself with all the breaking news.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, this is the perfect way to wrap up the live assignment because it is kind of a refreshing, resetting way to wrap up the streaming.
So now you guys, Eli has been out in Little 5 Points, a neighborhood in Atlanta, while the Back to Ghoul event will end today. These businesses are going to be up. I mean, she said that they're celebrating 40 years. So if you want to, go out there, take a look at what they have going on. It's a really cool, really, I guess you could say historic or vintage kind of feeling area. It's really cute. All right, so let's get you another back to school event that is happening here in our area. This one is happening also in Atlanta. Our Caitlin Pratt was out there a little earlier, but I'm giving you a look at the Secure the Bag Back to School giveaway hosted by Black Male Initiative. Their whole thing, the whole point of the giveaway is to make sure that Black youth and their families across Georgia feel like they are ready, confident, and prepared to go back to school with dignity and, like I said, that confidence. So they've been providing free backpacks. You saw they were giving out haircuts. I saw them doing hairstyles for the ladies, whether you wanted braids. They were also retwisting locks. And then, of course, giving away school supplies to make sure that you are classroom ready on your first day of school. A lot of schools are going back tomorrow, Monday. Other schools around Georgia will be headed back the rest of this week coming up. And we talked to somebody from Black Male Initiative who gave us a bit of better insight into what this event means to him and the community.
Today, what we're doing, this is our 5th annual Secure the Bag Back to School event for Black Male Initiative. Today, what we have going on, we have kids getting their hair cut, so we got young men coming in here, making sure they get fresh and nice for school. We got the young ladies coming in here getting retwists, coming in here getting braids, but also one of the biggest things that we do every single year, obviously we make sure that all the kids have backpacks. So we're giving away over 500 backpacks to families that actually need them. That's really gonna be beneficial. But also what we have going on, giving away free food, giving away free slushies, and then all type of good and amazing stuff, along with games going on for the kids, making sure they can actually stay engaged throughout the day, making sure that they're just not coming just for this one singular thing, but making sure they're actually having a fun and nice day today.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't know how I could forget about the food and the drinks. They're also giving those out. I believe this event goes on until 7 p.m. today, so you've got plenty of time to get out there. If it looks cool, looks inviting to you, there's still plenty of time to get out there and register at the front table. So as it pertains to our headlines of the day, we have been covering a funeral from last night. A father who was killed outside a Greyhound bus station has finally been laid to rest. He is DeAnthony Reeves. His children told us that music was everything to their father, and so there were plenty of songs that filled the air, and hundreds of people came out to that funeral. We also spoke to Reeves' brother, Deontay Hightower, who says that he's working to make sure he can support his brother's 12 children who have been left behind without a father. He says that he's going to start what's going to be called the DeAnthony Reeves Foundation to help them out. He also says that he wants to continue to push for the Greyhound bus station and our state lawmakers here in Georgia to tighten up their gun laws. He says he's not going to be quiet until the man who shot his brother is held responsible. Here's what Reeves' brother had to say.
Justice will be served. Justice will be served. Not for him, for his kids. He ain't take just.
And in other news, we learned that Fulton County has gotten some funding to help their fight against HIV. The Metro Atlanta area is getting $5 million, like I said, to boost their fight against the HIV epidemic. Fulton County's Department for HIV Elimination will receive the grant from the Federal Health and Human Resources Department. This is all part of a nationwide initiative to reduce the number of new HIV infections here in the U.S. by at least 90% by the year 2030. That may seem like a very tough, ambitious goal, but they say with this $5 million, it will make that much of an impact. So the funds are going to be used to combat the epidemic, not just here in Fulton County, but in Cobb, DeKalb, and Gwinnett counties as well. Another cool thing we've been taking a look at, the Atlanta Fire Rescue is looking to launch their drone department. This is supposed to happen next month. Now, the fire department has been using drones to help them for quite some time now, but this will be its own dedicated drone unit. So here's how it'll work. 6 people will be ready to respond to calls throughout the city. Those 6 people will be trained to man the drone, and then they'll also have what are called spectators out there with them. We're told that the department already has 5 drones ready for use. So next month, we'll see how that impacts them. I've learned that they have been able to find not only victims, lost children, but they have also been able to find suspects with using thermal radars through their drones. So let's hear from a little more of what they had to say.
Standard. I mean, really, especially in our larger cities, Atlanta's such a diverse community. We have a river, such as the Chattahoochee River. We have high rises. We have multiple parks. We've got the Beltline. We want to get in and get things taken care of quickly.
Also, if you are trying to get around the city, we just learned MARTA is going to suspend their streetcar service. So looking ahead to September, because that's when this will really take place here, MARTA is going to suspend their streetcar service for at least 3 months. The suspension is supposed to help Georgia Power with their infrastructure work. MARTA will also be doing projects of its own while this work is happening. They say the transportation along the streetcar route will still be provided. That work is set to start on September 8th. And also, speaking of something that is coming soon, Black Restaurant Week is back, and there are plenty of places where you can get your grub on. If you're unfamiliar with how Restaurant Week works, just in general, usually these restaurants will have drink specials, discounts on some of their foods, and then sometimes they'll have a specialty menu if you go out and try different things. Some of the restaurants that we know are participating include Virgil's Gullah Kitchen and Bar, Spice House Midtown, Tea's Brunch Bar, Sugar High Sweets, Eats and Treats, and then there are plenty more that are supposed to be participating. This is their 9th annual campaign, and it's not just the city of Atlanta participating, there are also surrounding cities. But you guys, coming back into studio, we have been talking about going back to school pretty much this whole stream, because one of the bigger things is, getting that good rest right before your first day of school. And I spoke to an expert that said it's not just how many hours you get at night, it also depends on what time you go to sleep, because the later you go, you could be setting yourself up for worse health in the future. So we are gonna hear some of his tips, what he suggests that you do, how to reset your sleep schedule, coming right up. Well, hey guys, welcome back to Fox Local. I'm Judea Murray. Now, depending on what time you went to sleep last night, you might be surprised to find out that it could be affecting your health in the future. There's a new study that is linking late sleep to serious health risks like diabetes, maybe even cancer, and other things to do with your heart. So we have Dr. Gotcha from Flow Neuroscience joining with us to talk to us a little bit more about when you should be getting your rest. Dr. Gotcha, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me today.
Of course. No, most people, they think they've got their 8 hours in, they should be good, but apparently it's more about when you go to sleep. Can you talk to us a little more about that?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, absolutely. We've almost known that they've got the early birds and the night owls, but this new research, and it's coming off the back of smaller research studies. This one was in over 74,000 people. And actually what we found was in that study that the time, so if you go to bed late, irrespective if you're a night owl, so that's your natural cycle might be like, that if you go to bed too late, it will have those effects on increased risk of some of those disorders. So exactly, diabetes, high blood pressure, other heart problems, even asthma and COPD. So really covering many, many diseases. So yeah, what it was here, is trying to then bring that time a bit earlier, irrespective of what your natural sleep cycle is like.
That's so interesting to me, and I'm glad that you brought up the whole night owl thing, because people think that just because they seem to thrive at night and still be able to get around during the day that they're okay, but come to find out, no, you could be at risk as well. Now, I know life is part of the reason that people go to sleep a little later. If life gets in the way, maybe you have a later shift. What are the biggest habits or maybe some of the stressors that you saw in the study that make it hard to get to bed earlier?
I think as many of those things that you mentioned. So life is getting busier. I think we're all aware of it. I feel it too. We've got pressures of work, yes, shifts. We've got all these other distractions, and I will call it distractions. Sometimes they've been great. I can do an email late at night and get my list done. I can get everything achieved. But actually, that constant stimulation is things which then just delay that natural sleep cycle. So if we go back in time, we tended to, or more of us tended to follow the light outside, sunlight, and night and day based on that. But we've got that constant stimulation there now. I'm guilty of it just as much. I'm sure many of your viewers are as well, looking at the phone, doing that even by the bedside and using that. And that stimulation is just disrupting that natural rhythm. So the tips are to then do the exact reverse and try to slowly move away from some of those habits and replace them with others.
So let's dive back into that you said there on the end. You might want to slowly start to change some of your habits. What would be a realistic first step for our viewers that they could take even tonight to start getting better, earlier rest?
So I think one practical thing is, we all talk about the screen. So just bring that time earlier when you stop using your phone, and even that can be quite difficult. So many phones now will have that blue light setting or that filter. So it just changes the screen setting. You're getting rid of some of that blue light, and blue light disturbs some of the melatonin, some of that natural rhythm. So that's one practical thing you could do now. And the other one is just bring forward that sleep. So 10, 15 minutes earlier. We're not saying change your habits immediately and do an hour or two earlier. Just bring it forward and keep that for the next few days. Your body will readjust, and then bring it forward again. So that's the short term. And there are longer term things that we can start to do as well. But immediately, that's what somebody might want to do today.
So that seems easy enough, actually. And I was just wondering, is there a sweet spot for what time you should go to bed, or really it's just as early as you can do it where it makes sense for you?
No, I think if we look at wider numbers and populations, before 11 o'clock is ideal. There's no set time, so it doesn't mean the earlier the better. Before about 10:30, 11 o'clock, certainly before midnight. So when you're getting to midnight, the study references particularly 1 a.m. But actually around about before 11, that would be the best time to then fall asleep. And some will need a good 7, 8, sometimes slightly longer hours. But if you try and keep that bedtime consistent, that will start to help.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, when do you think someone should stop trying to fix it on their own and maybe realize that they need a doctor or some other type of intervention?
So short term, sometimes what we call insomnia, and many people will say we have insomnia, that can be just because of normal triggers. Something's happened at work, there's been new news, something emotionally has come through which causes that. If you do those techniques, usually that will respond. Certainly if those what I mentioned now and doing all those habits hasn't helped, and particularly if it starts to go on for several weeks, and it's happening more regularly, so perhaps even every other night, it doesn't have to be every night, that's the time when you would need to look for help. And don't always rely on things that you might be able to even just get from the pharmacy and things. Think about just getting some help from doctors and other healthcare professionals too.
Beautiful. Okay, and for those of you guys out there watching, we did tell you to limit your screen time, but just to let you know, there is some technology out there that can help you. We'll have
Hey, everybody, coming at you right now from Sandy Springs. And later on this half hour, we are going to take you inside Metro Atlanta's Hidden Winery. Did you know you can not only buy and taste wine, but you can make your own wine right here in Sandy Springs? It happens in this building. So tucked away inside beer and winecraft is Sandy Springs Boutique Winery. It's a very cool place. And again, we'll take you inside later this half hour. First, though, let's talk movies, shall we? Brand new movie in theaters this weekend called She Rides